Good evening. Good evening. Savva here from Savva Talks Football for episode 18 of the Spurs review. That means there's been 17 previous, and this is the 18th. Next week's will be the 19th. It's amazing how this works. I've got 3 people with me today, not 17. I have got the Calf, 2 years of Calfie. Love that. Ben, how you doing?
Doing all right. You've really scraped the barrel with your guest tonight. Imagine inviting the cough on for a bloody YouTube show. Clearly, there's no one else available tonight, so I'm very happy to be there. Thanks for having me.
All on strike with Gary Lineker. So
He's really scraping the barrel with the cough here. He's really scraping the barrel.
We're going to talk about Lineker in a bit, actually. I think
sometimes I won't talk about that. I refuse.
We're not going to talk about Gary Lineker in a bit. Pete, how are you, mate? You all right?
I'm good, mate. As long as I don't talk about Gary Lineker. Yeah, no, I'm good. Hope everyone's well.
Yeah, we're good. And it wouldn't be a show, would it? It wouldn't be a Spurs show without Mr. Box Office. Alex, I take it you went yesterday. How was it? All good?
Yeah, it was actually very good. Actually, very, very good. Good. Yeah, it was very good. Yeah. Actually, we'll actually talk about the game. I forgot that. I was talking about last night. I forgot that. Yeah. No. It was good. It was good. It was good. That was it. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less, and that's it really. Big up to Jack and Nick, because the only reason why I was there because of Nick and Jack, and that was it. They gave me a free ticket, and that was it. So big up to them, and that's it really.
Well, big up to Nick and Jack. Look, let's get straight in, guys. We had a horrendous 10 days leading up to this game. 3 games, 3 different competitions, knocked out of 2 of them, didn't score a goal. And I think, look, I'll say this, I'll start with you, Pete. For me, it just felt like this was a nice game to get us back into the swing of things. A poor Nottingham Forest, but did we see the reaction that we expected and the reaction that we deserved after another awful evening in the Champions League?
Did we get reaction we deserve as fans? Yes. Did we get reaction I was expecting? No. I was expecting probably a lesser quality result. But for me, it changes nothing. It's Nottingham Forest. I'm not being funny. It was a game we should have won. We were expected to win. A team that before yesterday, scored 3 goals away from home all season. I mean, if you can't beat them, then you really got problems. But I'm sure there'll be the other side where now we've won a game. It's the usual win a game. Every fan thinks everything's great, and we'll all turn the corner. And then next week it'll be back down to earth again.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ben, we do this a lot, don't we? Look, it was a good win. It was a much needed 3 points to just take a little bit of pressure off of the shoulders of the club. Were you expecting anything less? I saw a lot of people saying that they thought that Forest would come and beat us, but like Pete said, they've got 3 away goals all year. So this result was thoroughly expected, right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe how bad Forest were, to be honest. They weren't even second to every ball. They were 3rd or 4th to every ball. They were lackluster. It's a bad thing that Boxy is here, because he's going to say they were bang average, bruv. They weren't even bang average. They were shocking. They were pathetic. They were a team that's going to looks like they're going to go down. If they perform like that every week, they're going to go down. They were dreadful. We did what we had to do. I'm impressed with performances from Oliver Skipp and from Pedro Porro. They were the bright spots of the game for me. But again, it was a bit Harry Kane FC, wasn't it? Harry Kane was on every ball. Anytime anything happened, it was Harry Kane involved with it. And that's what he's paid to do. But yeah, I'm not impressed with that performance. We just needed to turn up and we were going to beat Forest. They were dreadful. And I like Richarlison's performance was okay. He was okay yesterday.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Richarlison in a bit. I mean, Alex, I'll tell you the funny thing. As you know, I wasn't able to watch the game live yesterday because I was running an event. And it's so funny. I'm in so many different Spurs WhatsApp groups. Obviously, I put a post out asking on my channel who played well, how did we play. The number of different scenarios that I got told, it was brilliant, much better performance. Some people saying, yeah, really good first half, dropped off second half. Other people saying it wasn't great. It was that Forest were poor. Where do you stand with this? Were we that good? Were they that bad? Was it a mixture of both?
It's okay. There's nothing more to say. We're just okay. You know. Again, I knew what we were gonna do. We're gonna big up, go over the top of Richarlison. He was busy. That's how I'll describe him. Busy. You know. Skip. Okay, he looks good. He's putting things. He's putting some balls across the line. He's doing things. He's moving about. I still don't know what sort of midfielder he is at the moment. I don't know. I've got no idea. Poro, I like Poro. I have to say this because at least someone attacks, and that's it. All I will say is, Savva, I've said it on my channel again, Alex THFC, if you really want to know your boy, Alex THFC, Mr. Box Office, talking the truth again. I'm Conte out. I'm Conte out. I've got to be honest. I'm done. I don't blame the bloke. It's just that I'm bored. I'm bored now. I want attacking football back now. I've had enough. You know what I mean? Why is it that I have to go to chicken shop beforehand to have some food to make myself feel better about going to a game before I go to a game? What is that all about, bro? You know what I mean? Why do I have to go?
Do that to you, man?
Why do I have to have a sausage roll because I need to make sure I feel better because I'm freezing because I'm so bored about watching my team, bro. I'm so bored, bruv. I'm getting bored with it, bruv, man. You know what I mean?
You know, I feet a lot during a game, didn't you?
Huh?
You know, I feet a lot for a game.
Well, no, but it's you know, why do I feel hungry? Why do I feel hungry when I'm watching the game, bruv? I should be excited. I should be elacious, but I don't feel anymore, man. I'm done. I'm done with it. I don't blame the guy because at the end of the day, he's a winner. He has won trophies. Whether you agree with it or not, he has won trophies. We ain't won no trophies. So at the end of the day, we went to him the other way around. But that football, it was just so turgid. Like the passing, and the only reason why we got through is because Richarlison uses his brain and got through, and crossed it in for Kane, and Kane, it was predominantly Kane FC. You know what I mean? Like I say all the time, Kane FC. If he's not in the game, we don't turn up. You know.
Yeah.
And that's
I mean, look. We did win. Look, we won. We got 3 points, Ben. Just before I quickly come to you, guys, please subscribe. Subscribe to Alex THFC. If you don't know, you better get to know, because he is the professor of truth and entertainment. And I am 6 subscribers short of 3,600. So trying to get to 4K before the channel is 1 year old, which is in 31 days. So please subscribe if you haven't. Please like the show. And if you want to put in a super chat to ensure you get something read out, then please do that as well. Ben, the first question, I'm seeing a lot of people in the chat saying this. Why couldn't we play like that against Milan? Now, I didn't think it was an amazing performance. I thought it was better. It was certainly better. And the first half, it felt like there was a bit more intensity and will to kind of attack. Why couldn't we do that against Milan when it was needed most?
I think we were terrified of that game on Wednesday. I think we were terrified. And that's the poor mentality of the team. You've got to look at it from AC Milan's perspective. They are not a good football team, but there's one thing they do have, and that's intelligence. If you've watched that game, AC Milan made sure that game did not flow. They stifled us at every opportunity. Olivier Giroud was the prime example. Time wasting from minute 1. The moment someone even gave him a touch, he was on the floor for 10 minutes. They knew how to get through that game. That is what champions do. They are the champions of Italy for a reason. They're not some minnow side. They knew how to get through a big game. They knew if Tottenham, the atmosphere was good, and they knew that the Tottenham had something about them, that they were going to get beat. So what they did, they slowed the game down. Every time they got kicked, they screamed. They played the referee and our team like a fiddle. Yeah. We showed that we are children. We showed we are a small club, because big clubs in Europe, they know the dark arts of football. And that is what happens. And we're never going to have that, because until we start acting like a big club and getting players like a Casemiro or a Bruno Fernandes, players that know the dark side of the game, players that are just going to they know how to play the referee. That's what you've got to do in big games. And we don't do it. We haven't done it for years.
Yeah.
But
it's the I don't want to say dark arts, but it's just knowing how to kill a game, isn't it? Knowing how to slow it down. Whereas
How
I
to
think-
get the referee on your side. How to get the referee on your side.
Yeah. Whereas
The
we
moment
just
Romero made a tackle, they knew to get him a yellow card. They've done who they attack to get the referee on their side, and that's what big teams do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pete, just quickly, just before I come to you, Benjamin Daniels, hello, would like to debate me. I mean, that's lovely. What do you want to talk about, Benjamin? Let me know in the chat what you want to debate.
Leibniz or Kit Kats?
Kit Kats or Leibniz biscuits. Benjamin, what do you want to debate? I haven't said anything. I haven't even given an opinion yet. Pete, look, let's go to the obvious. So we Porro came back in for more of an attacking perspective. Richarlison came in for Kulusevski. Alex said he looked busy. For me, I thought it was probably his best performance in a Spurs shirt. What did you make of it? Was he just busy, or did we see a player there? What did you make of his performance?
I'm not going to sit here and say I watched the game because I didn't. I just saw little bits of highlights. For me, I just see him doing what he normally does, but against a team with lower quality, so he looks better. I don't really see that this is a top quality footballer. Definitely not a £60 million footballer in a million years. I think the quality opposition was low enough for him to make him look good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't see anything around it. I mean, I don't. There's nothing against the lad. He runs his nuts off. He does his bits and that. But whenever anyone ever talks about him, all they can say is that what I've just said. He runs around a lot, or shithousery, all this sort of crap. Yeah. When there's no talk about any of the quality he brings, because to be honest, since he's been, he hasn't brought any. He's had a couple of moments, but that's about it. So for me, it's nothing to sort of get off your seat about. I said he's got 2 goals. He scored, took his shirt offside. He's done that twice now, hasn't he? He's not scored a Premier League goal all year. Let's be honest, he's had ample opportunity. Don't get me wrong. I know he's had an injury and he's only played at sub, but he's had opportunity to at least bag one. You know what I mean? Bag one. It's
interesting, isn't it? Because I mean, I thought his finish was really good for the goal that let's be really honest. Let's be honest. VAR was absolutely killed. Look, I won't get into that, but the goal that never stood, I thought, he was great for that. He won the pen. I thought he chased down, worked really, really hard. And look, I think it's difficult for the lad, isn't it? He's been brought into play as a backup. And when he's getting his opportunities, they're all from wide positions. But like you said, Pete, for me, I think he looks a workhorse. I don't think anyone will be able to say he doesn't offer that. But I don't see too many qualities that make me go, yeah, you're my type of footballer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he's got no standout qualities on the ball with the football. Everything he's good at is off the ball, running around, picking people off, winding people up, all that sort of stuff. But there's no real discernible quality. Never had it at Everton either. Let's be honest, he's a man whose highest league tally is 13 with 3 penalties. So it's not, we're not talking prolific here. That sort of workman like runs around a lot is something you probably expect from maybe a kid coming through who does that as a minimum and will add the rest to the game as he gets better. Do you know what I mean? But not for 60. It's not his fault. He didn't ask to be cost 60 million. It's nothing to do with him. I do feel for him in a way that, as you say, he's not being played in his preferred position a lot, but I still think he could have scored a couple of goals by now in the league at least. Yeah. But then again, as I say, I contradict myself here because I don't think he's that good a footballer. He's definitely not a £60 million footballer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Alex, before I move on to the next subject, I mean, you started the show by saying that you felt that I think you said did you say worked hard or he
busy?
He was busy. Hard, yeah. He was busy. Yeah. Do you think he's done enough there in that performance that we see him in the next game? Does he keep his place above Kulusevski for the next game?
I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, I think they're bad as each other right now. I think Kulusevski at the moment is not playing well either. I think confidence is low for him. For some reason, I think the injuries has been bad. I think the player that I'm wound up about is Danjuma. That's the one I'm scratching my head at the moment.
Yeah,
but I don't know because I feel you could give him a chance, but I don't know. But out of the two, maybe Richarlison because he's busy at the moment and he can cause a little bit more. And I think pace wise, I think he's struggling, Kulu. But I'm not. If to be honest with you, I don't think it really matters who plays. I think the only player that really needs to play is Kane, and that's it for me. I'm not bothered about Son at the moment. I'm not bothered about Kulusevski at the moment. I'm not really that bothered about Richarlison. The only player that I think it really makes us tick is Kane, and that's it. And I won't change my opinion until he's left, and that's it. And see how we are then.
Tommy here.
That's it.
He took his goal really well. The first touch and that finish for his goal was quality. It was a brilliant ball from Richarlison. Brought it down on the outside of his foot, shimmied past the defender, put it in the back of the net. It's all you can ask for. And Sonny needs more of that. And that's why Sonny's not doing well this year, because we're not putting the ball on the plate for our top players. We're expecting our top players to do everything and have to create and to score. And we need more of that.
I don't think it's a balanced team. I don't think it's a balanced
team
as well.
Team, you're right.
I don't think it's a balanced team at all. But I don't enjoy the way we play. I can make my own judgment now. I'm actually now being more honest with myself than I've ever now. And I don't care what anybody says in the chat either, because as far as I'm concerned, they can have a go at Mr. Botsford all day long, but I'll just eat that up all day bloody long. As far as I'm concerned, Professor Truth Entertainment, and respect that name. That's all I need to say. But as I say, it's like I say, I've watched this team for so long now, and it's not, you ask the question to Ben about and he said about why did we not play like this against Milan? I asked the question, why do we not play like this in the Carabao Cup against Nottingham Forest second team?
I agree.
Why do we not play like that in the Conference League last year? Mm-hmm. Why do we not play like that against Middlesbrough last year? Why do we not play like that in the Sheffield United the Cup final, FA Cup final, FA Cup, right? That's the question I need to ask, because when people are telling me that we could win the Champions League with Virgil and Dye in your defence, and you can't get past a Farmers League team in the Conference League, I think we need to get back to our bases and start realising where we are at the moment. You know what I mean? And that's it. Back to you, Sav. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to put spoilers out there.
Well, thanks, Alex. Back to me. Big up, Sean. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're all right, mate.
Oh.
Can you hear us? You good? No, okay, we'll carry on until Sean. Look, guys, what I'm seeing a lot of it, and look, I want to be really mindful that we did win this game. I just think for a lot of people, I feel like it doesn't feel as much of a win as normally a win would, because of the week we'd had before with the 3 games, right? It felt like this had to be a win coming off the back. But all the conversations I've seen, and look, bear in mind, I was in Dublin. I wasn't glued to my phone like I normally am. It's now, we lose a game, and it's, and it's, who are we blaming this week? Is it Conte? Is it the owners? Is it Paratici? We win a game, and then everyone going, oh, see, Conte is good. He can do this. This can't go on, can it, guys? Like, it can't. We can't become a fan base that one week we lose and it's this person's fault, that person's fault. The next week we win and actually no, they're really good. We can't go on like that, can we, Pete? If I come to you and I come to you, Sean, we can't keep doing this.
No, I mean, we should rename the club Katie Price's Knickers FC, because we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down, we're up, we're down constantly. I just think a fan just is how you look at it. If you want to look at a one game on each game, then you will be up and down with your emotions. But if you look at it in the long run and go, right, look at the whole season or trajectory and go, how are we playing? Like I do, and I know you do, and then that one-off result, whether it be good or bad, won't affect your outlook, because you could sort of see it coming in a way, because you know how we're playing. So let's be honest, we've played shit all year, continue to play shit, I played shit all week, and then beat a very poor team. There's nothing to say also everything's all good now, because next week we go to Southampton, a ground where we regularly get dicked, where they tend to beat us there, and it'll all be on all that again. But the biggest cloud overhanging at the moment is the manager. And I think personally, I think on Saturday it was about the players playing for a bit of pride. Yeah, Kane run his nut. Richarlison then turns into a beast after the disappointment in midweek. I don't think it's anything to do with motivation or Conte's now a genius or anything like that. I think that was just the players going bollocks. Yeah, we're going to do what we want and we're going to win this game. That's why I think on it.
I mean, look, Sean, let me come to you. Welcome to the show, mate. Hope you're well. Please, people, keep subscribing. Come on, help me get to that magical 4K in under a year. Sean, what I really struggle with I think football fans in general now, what I really struggle with is the up and down each week. It really does get to me that it doesn't feel like anyone's allowed a consistent opinion. If you have an opinion and then like for example, everyone knows I don't want Conte here. He's not my type of manager.
Yeah.
We beat a Nottingham Forest team and it's, oh my God, Sav. Look, here you go. I'll show you some comments. Look, like this. Are you still Conte out? We might get third. The team overperforming under Conte. My question to you is this, Sean. Is the squad as bad as we sell it to it, as bad as some of our fans portray it to be? Because we win games and everything's good. Then when we lose games, we go, yeah, but the players aren't good enough. I'm confused about all of Tottenham at the moment. Make it make sense for me.
Well, I'll answer sort of the second question first and the first question last. And evening, everyone. Hope you're all good. Look, I think I did a show with Jack Kanicki, I don't know, a couple of months ago, and we went through every squad and we tried to stack rank them by what our opinions were, and with the help of the audience of where we thought everyone were just on quality. Yeah, and we had Tottenham about 7th in squad quality, but that was obviously over the entire squad. You can figure it out, but obviously the defense for Tottenham kind of hinders us massively in terms. But if you just were to focus on the midfield and the attack, you'd probably put us 3rd or 4th. But the defense obviously drags us down. So to the point that maybe we are overperforming a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know. It's a subjective thing. To me personally, I don't get. It's not about the wins or the losses. I made this abundantly clear. For me, my priority, the foundation of the reason why I watch football is to be entertained, and right. Conte does not entertain me at all. Yeah. Yesterday is a papering over of the cracks. Whether it was a reaction from the players to say, screw all the negative press. Whether it was maybe it was playing for Conte, maybe it wasn't. Who knows what the kind of catalyst or the rationale for why they turned up. But I think you also have to recognise that Forest were absolutely awful. Forest were they didn't turn up at all yesterday, and so we beat a team that we should be beating comfortably, and they were nothing like the version of themselves that we've seen them to be this season. So I don't think.
Continuing on from that, Sean. Yeah, continuing on from that, if you look, I mean, I think that the 3 games we've got, if you include yesterday's game and the 2 games coming up, have been a dream for Conte to get out of the slump we were in. When you look at it on paper, and I know football's not played on paper, when you're looking at Forest at home, Southampton away, who are are they rock bottom or second bottom or wherever they are, and then Everton, who are in a relegation battle. Yeah. I think those 3 games, you know what's going to happen. I think this is just me. I think we'll win all 3. We've already won one of them. And again, it will be, there you go, Conte's brilliant, blah, blah, blah. I don't change my mind, Sean, based on
you can't change your mind. And most of the people that are saying that Conte's brilliant, or most of the people that want you to pivot back, are people that prioritise cups and the trophy drought. And yet they didn't say boo to a goose when we got removed from both cups in pathetic fashion over the last 2 weeks. Most people who care about trophies don't care about top 4, but are suddenly going to be really on board if we get 3 victories as some sort of justification of Conte being the right guy for the job. For me personally, he isn't the right guy for the job. He's not going to be here anyway, so it's a moot point. The idea, I think there's a 1-2% chance that he's going to sign a new contract, and so back him, don't back him, get behind him, don't get behind him, doesn't really matter, because in 3 months' time, when the season's done and dusted, we'll have a new manager at the helm for the start of next season. But one thing I would say, just to get back to that, the second question first or whatever, a lot of people, I guess in humour, get called flip-flops. We were going through this last Sunday, I think it was, or the Sunday before that, looking through the archives of WhatsApp groups and calling people out as a joke for how they've changed their tune on certain, people or managers or whatever over the season. It's pretty difficult to not be a flip-flop as a Tottenham fan because the form of Tottenham flip-flops to Pete's point about like Katie Price's draws. One week we can beat anybody, the next week we can lose to anybody that could be at the opposite ends of the footballing spectrum, like beat Manchester City, beat Chelsea, lose to Sheffield United, lose to Wolves, and then put in that performance against Milan. The performances that you see are so flip-floppy from not just the team, but the individuals that are in the team that, it's difficult to have a consistent opinion and not look stupid one week and then like a genius the next, because Tottenham continually like surprise you on both sides of the coin. So I don't think you wouldn't be blamed for people if they did change their mind a bit more than they would otherwise, because Tottenham continue to just surprise people for in the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, let me come to you just really, really quickly. Whoever Materio is said every Conte side was very entertaining. Inter, Juve, and Chelsea played fantastic football. Go and speak to Chelsea fans. Yeah,
Eden Hazard was the reason why they looked good.
Go and speak to Chelsea fans. They did not want him. They did not like his football. So look, Ben, I think to carry on from Sean's point, consistency in opinions, I think he's right. It's very difficult because the team itself is so inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? Like we win 2 games, everyone thinks, right, is this the turning point? And then we lose a couple. We win at Forest and everyone's now like, is this the turning point? And it's so inconsistent that I just feel like it is difficult for everybody to have consistent opinions, but the swinging backwards and forth from whose fault is it when we win who gets the praise when we win versus who gets the abuse when we lose, that metric for me doesn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
It goes back to a man that we all wish would get well soon is Mr. Coover 99. Every meal is a banquet and every hunger is a famine.
Yeah.
That is the story of every football fan. Unfortunately, it is the right manager for the wrong club. In terms of it is the wrong employee for the wrong organisation. If you are Inter Milan that wants to win, he's your perfect manager. I know loads of Inter Milan fans, and if you just look on social media, every single person in the picture that Conte posted on Instagram today is please come back, please come back, please come back.
Yeah.
Some clubs love him.
Yeah.
It's the wrong organisation because the way our club is run, whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it's not suited for a manager like Antonio Conte. It's suited for someone like a Graham Potter, a Pochettino, a Thomas Frank, someone on that lines that's going to work under a stringent budget and it's going to be willing to be with players that the club gives him rather than saying, I want Conte's contract at Juventus specified, because I know people that signed that contract, said, I want these 5 players. And it would say in the contract, give me this player, this player, this player, this player, and this player. It would say it in his contract. That's the type of manager Antonio Conte is. He wants those players. Our club isn't run like that. So what's the point of doing it 2 times in a row now with Mourinho and Conte? This club, they just don't work. Inter Milan, it works. Juventus, it will work. Even if he goes to a Real Madrid, it will work because he will say to Fiorentino Perez, I want these players. And he'll say, all right.
If they haven't got the money, though, Ben, Europe is bankrupt, right? If they haven't got the going back, if he goes back to most teams in Italy where they can't, like they haven't got enough money to pay their electricity bill, and he says, I want these players and that players. Some players might want to go and stay in Italy because they love Italy. Some players may want to go and play for a big club and accept lower terms or whatever. But generally speaking, I don't think it's going to be as easy this time around for Conte in Italy as it was previously.
There's one thing you've got to factor in, Shawnee. 2023 is the year that Inter Milan completes their new stadium with AC Milan. For once, they will be able to compete with Juventus because, as you know, only 2 teams in Italy own their football stadium. They're all owned by the local municipality.
Yeah.
But the only one that really benefits off of that is Juventus, which is why they were at the top for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the moment Inter and AC Milan move into their own 60,000-seater stadium and they get that money, that's when you will see Inter being an utter powerhouse in Europe because they will be able to sign the players. They're Inter an enormous club.
They've got massive debts, though.
They do, but they will pay that off. Like with the They will do it with the deals.
In January, Inter's transfer budget was literally zero, like officially zero.
But
There
that's
was
gonna
no
change.
money.
They're selling off the land around the stadium. They're building businesses. They're building
Okay.
Ben,
universities.
can I just want to reinforce your point, and this is what, do you know what, it baffles me how some people talk. It truly baffles me. So one of the things I always hear, and I always have this chat with Perchy, is people keep saying to me and to him and to others, I'm sure Alex we all get it, right? We get this. Back Conte. We've changed managers loads. Back Conte. I don't know if I'm the only one in the room that is aware that how can I back Conte when his contract is up in 3 months' time? I keep hearing this, Ben, as though he's got 5 years on his contract and we're sitting here going, get rid of him. He signed an 18-month.
They gave him that contract, isn't it? They only gave him an 18-month contract because they knew in 18 months Mauricio Pochettino's contract at PSG was going to be up and they're going to get Pochettino back. That's realistically what the Tottenham board want. That is what they want.
It was mutual. It was mutual though. Like Conte didn't want to start. If Conte demanded or asked for 3 years, I reckon they might have given
I think they've had that. Yeah. I think Paratici has told him that. They've probably had a chat and he's probably said, Amico, we want Pochettino.
Yeah.
Stay here for 18 months. We'll pay you a shit ton of money because, again, you can find us on Sky Sports. Conte has lost a lot of money this year. He was scammed out of a hell of a lot of money via just like a load of politicians were. So we'll give you a load of money to do this job. You want 18 months and then you can go back to Italy and have a nice time, drink wine.
Right. So if that's the unspoken accord, then like, why are we sitting here bothering debating too much about whether or not, like, because you know what I mean? Like Conte's gone, isn't he? We all agree he's not going to be in next season.
Yeah,
Sean, look at these comments, right? Here, I just want to go through a few comments. I find it hilarious, right? So first of all, I mean, this chap again making out that players like Lukaku and Diego Costa was a fantastic forward in his day.
Lukaku was brilliant.
He was absolutely brilliant. So we're talking about him like he wasn't any good. This person is cracking me up. The angry cock. I love this person, right? Let's break down just how little intelligence there is in this comment, right? How about this is what I was saying, guys. How about giving Conte 4 to 5 windows and then judge him? The guy's contract runs out in 3 months. I truly do not understand how people can't comprehend this. Yeah? Pete, am I being an idiot? Has he signed a contract? And I just, no one's told me, but other fans in the fan base seem to know he signed a contract.
Well, you and me both then. I don't get it. It's just Conte doesn't back Conte at Tottenham. So why do we back things? And to be honest, I'm a bit annoyed at these sort of people. Sort of like Conte before Tottenham. It's like they're Conte fans before they're Tottenham fans all of a sudden.
It's embarrassing.
And the way he spoke about the fans this week, the way he's done the club, he's basically taking the piss at the moment. Let's be honest. Regardless of how many trophies he's won elsewhere, he's taking the piss. He's basically saying to the club, sack me because I'm not going to walk away, but I can't be arsed with this anyway, so just do me a favour. I mean, I would have done it, but that's just me. But it's like Tottenham Hotspur are a bigger club than Antonio Conte. Yeah, we've been around long before Conte. We'll be around long after Conte. I don't get these people that are Conte before everything else. It's the same with these idiots that are Son before everything else. As soon as you mention anything about Son or Son this, they come from the woodwork. No, you can't say that about him. Blah blah blah. Yeah, Conte does not want to be here. He don't want to be here for another. If he had his way, he's waiting to be sacked. He don't want to be here for another 10 minutes, let alone another window or 4 or 5 windows. He does not want to be here. So it's time to let that theory go of backing him, giving him 20 windows, giving him 800 million quid, whatever. He is not want to be here for it. Yeah, it is not going to happen. If there is a good guy coming.
Let me back onto this. So the comments I keep hearing, and again, we have this conversation all the time about backed. The word backed. I hear this all the time. Who's been backed? Who hasn't been backed? From what we're hearing, right? From what we've been told, the players that Antonio Conte wanted were players like Vardial, Bastoni, Lautaro Martinez, Undakar. Now, I don't know. It hurts my head. I'll be honest, Pete. It hurts my head that people believe that we're just going to go, Antonio, here's Vardial at 90 million. and that Vardiol is going to go, you know what? You know where I do want to join across Europe when every team in the world wants me? I'm going to join Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
We're hearing that Undercar turned us down apparently in January because he was waiting for a bigger club. Bastoni made it clear he's not leaving, right? Even Lautaro Martinez. If we had bid 80 million for Lautaro Martinez, are we saying no other club in world football that needs a striker would have gone, hang on, we'll have a...
Lautaro's a different situation because luckily I know something about this because I'm part of this issue. Sorry, everyone. But Lautaro Martinez has just opened a restaurant in Milan called Carache, which is very nice, by the way. You should go there. They do a very good schnitzel, amazingly. But in Milan, if you own a restaurant, you have to live in Milan. That is the rules of being in Milan. You've got to. They don't like people owning businesses that are not from Italy. If you know anything about Italy, most of the businesses are local businesses, even stuff like Intimissimi and big brands like that. He's just opened a new restaurant, which is very good. He's not going to leave Italy and have the option of his restaurant being taken away from him. He's going to be there for a long time. And when you open a restaurant that's that good, you want to enjoy it. You're not going to suddenly think, I'm going to go to London and eat McDonald's and eat crap English food. No, you're going to stay in Italy. You're going to earn the money, all of that stuff, and you're going to do that. So luckily, no bits of that. And the coffee is very good because
Be interesting to see what happens with Bastoni in the summer. Now that they lost Skriniar on a free, obviously, to PSG. And, De Vrij's getting on, and he's as much as I loved him as a player, he hasn't had a great season. So it'd be interesting to see if they do, because they still need to raise the money, Ben. I take what your point massively about the new stadium, but all those things are like kind of lagging indicators. They trickle down through the economy of the business like over time. So it'd be interesting to see what Inter does this summer.
Yeah.
Because Italian football is like, not just forget about the economics of it, but it's ripe there. Like Napoli have obviously had a phenomenal season, but every other team is underperforming, aren't they? So
they're in a transition period. They're trying to root out the corruption now, which is why Paratashi's been done. It's why they're trying to root it out. And it's about time they're starting to do it. They're trying to make Italian football like the Premier League and have it being competitive. The problem is, just like I've been saying, there's only there's only going to be 3 teams that own their own stadium. If they want it to compete with the likes of the Premier League, they're going to have to start selling the teams like Bari, like Fiorentina with the Stadio Franchi. They're going to have to start selling the teams their stadium.
Fiorentina is one of the only teams that there's only 2 teams that turn in the black.
Fiorentina do own their stadium.
Fiorentina and Atalanta, I think, are the other two. They're the only 2 teams that managed to.
Juventus, Fiorentina, and possibly Atalanta, and it's going to be Milan as well.
Oh no, I'm not sure about Atalanta Stadium. I'm just saying that they were one of only 2 teams that managed to turn a profit or break even on the 2022
Italian
season.
teams need to own their stadiums if they want to compete, because if it goes all the way to the municipality, they're not going to be able to spend it, which is why Italian stadiums are still awful. Look at the San Siro; it's a dreck.
Was that 60 years old, isn't it? Sorry, Sal.
Sorry, just to say, my point wasn't so much about who the player is. I mean, forget if it was Lautaro Martinez, Undercar, Bastoni, Vardiol. My point is this, is that we keep saying these random things like back him, right?
Yeah.
The man's not signing. The man isn't our manager next year, right? And I've said this all along. You boys have worked with me enough to know this. If he turns around and signs a contract, whether I like him as a manager or not, I turn around and go, there you go. He signed a contract. We know where we're going. Now he's clearly had the conversations with the board to say that he's happy with what they said. Now there's no excuses because he's seen how we run, right? He's seen how we run. He's seen how we buy players. Yeah. He's seen the caliber of players that we bought for him. If he signs a new contract now, that's on him. But my overriding point is this.
But you'd also back him then, wouldn't you, mate? Like, you'd get behind him, even though you don't like his football. Like, if we find out in the summer that he signs a 3-year contract, then I go, okay, so that's the direction we're going in. Clean slate for me. I'll go, okay, well, let's give him some more tools. Let's see if this magical football, whoever it was saying he played brilliant football at Juve and Inter and Chelsea. I don't remember that. But if he did, then I want to see it at Tottenham, and I'll get behind it. But knowing that he's not going to do that in all likelihood, I don't see the point of backing someone that's not going to be here in 90 days' time.
We need to see what backed is, though, because people seem to think that backed is getting players in. The reason Arteta has been backed at Arsenal is not only has he's got his own team, he was able to say, Aubameyang is a problem for my dressing room. Get him out. This person is a problem. Get him out. Whereas we've got Ben Davis, who threw Pochettino out. Eric Dyer, that's thrown multiple managers out. We've got too many players that have thrown too many. We will know if he's backed, if he gets rid of the players that are causing the problem. We need to have a unified squad that's been there under one manager. And it doesn't matter if it's Conte, if it's Ryan Mason or Pochettino or Tom. We need to get rid of the majority of players that have been there too long, and we need to have a united message.
These players are getting new contracts.
Crohn's message, isn't it? What 7 Kingdoms versus the Dothraki? Who wins? 5 or 1? The one united army. But it's that. We don't have a united army. We have a splintered dressing room under too many different philosophies and too many different ways of playing. We need a united team. And that is backing.
But the argument about when it comes to transfers and whether someone was backed or not, I really, really hope that we can agree that playing Harry hindsight and waiting to see whether the players worked out to then decide whether he was backed or not can stop. We need to look forward. If Richarlison had banged in 20 goals this season and Bissouma had become a world-class player like we thought he was going to be, and Tottenham was second in the league and in the Champions League quarterfinals, in the FA Cup semi-final or whatever else, there wouldn't be a conversation of whether he was back. It's only a conversation because the season's been a disappointment and some of the players that we spent big money on haven't worked out. I think that you should change the narrative and agree as a person, as an individual, or as a panel, for example, or in the comments, is look forward and say, what is it that whoever the manager's going to be, what is it that they're going to need in the summer to give us the best chance going forward? And then you make that agreement, whether it's on money spent, on number of signings, on specific players or specific positions or whatever, or players going out. And if those things are achieved, just in fact, in the real terms, by the start of the season, if you've got a goalkeeper, if you've got your 2 centre backs, if you have a central midfielder, a creative player, if you've got rid of Eric Dyer or whoever you want to get rid of, if those things are achieved, then you should agree or not that he was backed before the season starts. Not wait and see how it pans out 6 months later to then retrospectively, make a statement on that case. If that makes sense.
Let me bring in Alex. I agree with you, Sean. Let me bring in Alex. Alex, I think this is one of the key things for me here is hindsight is a wonderful thing. And look, there were people. I think we were a very split fan base in the summer, Alex, where some people were talking about we won the window, whatever that means. We won the window. What an amazing summer we've had, right? We've got Conte, Arsenal have got Arteta. They've bought badly, we've bought brilliantly, right? People predicting 80 to 85 points for Tottenham, right? People predicting that we're leaving Arsenal in our rear view mirror, right? Now, when that doesn't happen, all of a sudden he's not been backed.
Yeah.
Or, well, Arteta's been backed, so of course he's going to be finishing above Conte. That isn't what I was hearing in the summer. The narrative in the summer was that Mikel Arteta is they call him a B-Tech Guardiola, PE teacher, that can't coach. Arsenal, all our fans, do you remember? Jesus, don't matter, we got Richarlison, Zinchenko, these Man City cast-offs. Arsenal are now 5 points clear of the league with 10, 11 games to go. We are 20 points behind them. And now the narrative changed, Alex, to he wasn't given any players that he wanted. Any. Where are you on this subject?
I mean, for me, it's quite simple with Conte. He's a win now manager.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was my expectation at the end of the day, because the fact is the contract was ending at the end of the season, and at the end of the day, I looked at it like this. You don't have Pratici knows exactly what he's all about, and he's only there to win now and win championships. And so I was looking at it like this. I don't like Conte. Never really liked him. I wasn't really that bothered about him. But I sat there and thought, okay, I'll give it time because we've got to do what he wants. We've got to have learned because Pratici would have been telling them already. But when I saw the signs that were coming in, I said, okay. Basuma was surprised, and I thought, yeah, cool. Okay, good. That's cool. But I was kind of cringing at some of the things that I was hearing, but about some of the Spurs fans saying, "Oh, we're this, we're that, we're this." I admit, I was the same guy saying the same thing about what you were just saying about Arsenal, because at the end of the day, when you hear what other Arsenal fans were telling me already, even my brother, they weren't believing in Arteta. They never were believing in Arteta. You know what I mean? They should have got top four last season, but they bottled it. They absolutely bottled it, which is why I say that it's a bang average league. It's been a bang average league for a long time now. Yeah. This year, it's all gone well for them this year. Yeah. People fell off. They're not going to their own standards of what they need to be at the moment. Arsenal have taken advantage of it. You know, they've literally taken advantage of it. If you go back onto Tottenham at the moment, we don't know what our identity is. We're trying to win now, when we're not ready at all to be winning now. You know, and we don't even know where we want to go. We wanted to do what we wanted Conte in, but we didn't want to do what he wanted to get us to where he wants us to be. And that's the thing. And that's why I'm saying Conte out. You know, the whole thing about we're up and down. It's about the ownership. If we lose, if we win, it's about Conte. I am fed up. I'm fed up, Savva. I'm literally
I
fed
hear
up
you.
of it, bro. Because I'm telling
I hear
you,
you.
I got it on the Football Terrace as well. I've told it on it's on my channel, LXTHFC, if you really want to know. Yeah, someone coming at me telling me, why do I go to games? Well, let's do something. Let's do some research. Yeah, it was half full from Thursday. It's full. It's sold out, and every seat is filled against Nottingham Forest on Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just shows you where the fan base is about the ownership.
Do you know what, though,
Yeah?
Alex? I've never seen as many tourists in my life. I was sat in the premium section, mate, and I went backstage for to get the booze and the food and everything, and I didn't hear an English voice. Like no problem with it, because I met loads of amazing people, but it was my first taste of the kind of premium experience that you can get with the comfy seats and all that, and it was like, it changed my opinion a little bit about the whole football team versus entertainment complex. I'd never seen it like that, and there was Americans left, right, above me, everywhere. Didn't see that many Koreans, but like there's obviously Americans have got a lot of money. They're coming over here for for their tourism, taking a game. I don't know if that was consistent around the rest of the stadium or whether it's just because it was the premium end. But I was like, maybe when everyone gave up their tickets on the ticket exchange, maybe they were the season ticket holders and they were snapped up by a lot of tourists who want to come and see Tottenham on short notice.
This
I
is
don't
the
know.
point I'm making, Sean. This is the point I'm making. This is the thing that annoys me when people have a gut. And sorry, Sava, I'm going on to. I'm going a little bit sideways from another thing, another subject. But it's something that annoys me so much. I think it's going missing about this football at the moment. You go to football, you watch football to go to games. Yeah, it's not, if you can't go to games, fair enough. But you go to games, yeah, right? Tell you now, yeah. There are people like what is it, Dermot and David, yeah? They came to the game against AC Milan, yeah? They said to me exactly what we feel now. We're at the stadium watching what we're watching at the moment, yeah? They know exactly how I felt when I said I can't watch Dyer passing anymore, yeah? Right? They exactly know how I felt when I saw Emerson is absolute crap, yeah? And because he just runs down the line and doesn't do nothing, yeah? Right? This is the thing, yeah. You don't. There's a reason why we go against, because we've got the passion for it, and that's it, yeah. And at the moment, I'm not seeing a football team at the moment, bro. Yeah, I'm not seeing a football team at the moment. Yeah, I'm not doing it, and I'm tired of it, bro. And if I'm telling you right now, yeah, if we get Tuchel in, to be honest, they deserve it after what they said about Pochettino, by the way. Yeah, said about, oh, they want Pochettino back, the guy that they threw under the bus a couple of years ago. Yeah. Yeah, they want Pochettino back. The idiots, yeah, all those players, idiots, yeah, right, yeah, right. If they get Tuchel in, I'm done with this club, yeah, right. I'll still watch them. I'll still go, but I'll say Tuchel out every single time. I don't care, bruv. I don't care.
I don't
Yeah,
think
because
Tuchel would get
I
the
want my
patience.
Tottenham back. I want my Tottenham back, and Mr. Box Office wants good football because I'm a soccer guy because I like entertainment, and that's it. That's all I need to say. Back to you, Savva. I'm done.
I mean, guys, yeah, look, I mean, open forum. I'm not going to go round one by one, but open forum here to this next question. My whole point has always been this. Lots of people just say to me, oh, you're just Conte out. You're just Conte out. You've got an agenda. First of all, why would I have an agenda against anybody at Tottenham? I want everyone at Tottenham to be a roaring success. So when people say agenda, I don't understand. Why would I have an agenda against Antonio Conte? It makes no sense, right? If I don't like his ethos or his style of football, cool, that's on me. But my whole point is this, guys. We keep talking. I keep hearing previous 14 managers. Yeah, the next manager won't come in and win anything. But for me, the bigger issue is, as we've said, we're not going to win anything by just bringing in a manager and chucking stuff at them until there is an actual plan in place. Right, and this is what I've never understood, guys, about this whole backing. What are you backing? You're backing a manager that came in on an 18-month contract for whatever reason. Both parties agreed to it. You're backing what? Immediacy as opposed to building. And the same people that say, look at Arteta, he's had 4 years and been given players he wants. But that's the thing. Arteta's that guy. Arteta's a young manager that's happy to sit and to build, go through the bad times. I don't understand. I'll start with you, Pete, how so many of our fans cannot understand that Antonio Conte is not the guy you bring in to build. He is the win now manager.
Muted.
You're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah. The thing is with Arteta, and I've said it before many times, and it does reflect on our club as well, as at Arsenal, everyone is on the same wavelength. At Tottenham, they're not. Yeah. Across from the manager all the way up, no one's on the same wavelength. At Arsenal, they are. Everyone's on it. Yeah. That's why you don't hear Arteta saying, oh, he was a club signing or he was a club signing. Where we get that at our club. Conte's been saying it. Mourinho hinted at it as well before. Poch is similar. Yeah, where players get bought in with the manager not fully behind it. It's like, okay, basically they're saying we'll bring them in whether you like it or not. Yeah, in those probably not them sort of words, but do you know what I mean? It happens where, man, do you like this player? Okay, well, you can. Do you know what I mean? It's not really. It's I'll take him rather than I want him, and that always happens at our club, and that is a problem. Yeah, that goes deeper than Conte, Mourinho, and any other manager. Until that has to get sorted out when we get the next one in. That's got to stop. Yeah. Secondly, I think this whole Conte is backing him. We've got Levy-nomics and we've got Conte-saurus. The two of them are not a good match. Yeah, they're just incompatible. Conte's football is very rigid, fixed, needs this type of player to do it, which normally costs a lot of money. Yeah, at these clubs, he's already had these players, gone there and they're already there. He's got to do a little bit of moulding. He's not a builder. Yeah, he's not. He's not a builder. At Tottenham, we need someone who's going to build. They do need to be backed. I agree. They do need to be left to do the job and supported rather than sort of hindered by the way the club operates. So there's so many things that have to get right behind the scenes before we can see it on the pitch. And until that happens, that will always be a problem for this club. Whether it's Conte, Mourinho, Poch coming back, whatever. Until that gets fixed, we will always be in this complete circle. If you think about it, Conte said basically he didn't want Richarlison. That weren't his signing. Yeah, I mean, he may be saying that in hindsight. Who knows? Well, none of us are privy to that conversation, but that's what he's hinted at. Yeah. Same with Joe Spence. Same with Basuma, and he's not played these players, so you can't. Juma. Yeah, he clearly said Dan Juma, but he was a loan signer, so I don't really care about that. But where we've paid money that could have been spent elsewhere, that is a problem. And you look at Richarlison, £60 million spent, not got into the team where in the position where the manager wanted. That is a problem.
Right, but Pete, it's a problem though. Like, can you really pay if you've got a manager on an 18-month contract and you're buying players on 4 or 5 year deals on 150 grand a week and whatever the outlay is? Like, that's for me the argument of like giving the manager what he wants, irrespective of whether or not he was on a 2 year contract or a 3 year contract. The 18-month one makes it that makes the point more pertinent. But
Yeah, I get
even
that.
3-year managers, if you're buying players on 5-6 year deals, and the average tenure of a football manager across the Premier League, not just at Tottenham, is 21 months over the history of the Premier League, you're going to always be buying players for 2 or 3 managers. And so on that point, isn't the whole point of a director of football to take over he's supposed to be there for the 5, 6, 7 year, the 10-year project, and the manager should have to make do with the players that the director of football identifies.
And look who we got. We got basically Del Boy in, geezer who's bending everything. Now, the only thing he's cooked since he's been here he's known for cooking his books.
Yeah,
he's been useless. So that's what I'm saying. The whole thing behind the scenes has to get right. So you have to get the right director of football in. If you want to go down a road of going right, we're going to find young gems. Yeah, we're going to try and do the Brighton model. Get these gems, find them, either get them in a team and sell them on, or they become good parts of the team. The first thing to do is start lowering ticket prices, because you can't charge a premium amount of money and then say, well, that's even though that's what they're doing anyway. But then you've got to go and find a director of football who specialises in doing that. You don't go and get one who just...
We did have that, though. We did have it. We had Paul Mitchell.
I know we've had it. We've had it more than once.
And he personally said, Daniel Levy made my dream job a nightmare.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing has to get fixed behind the scenes until that little gremlin leaves it alone.
I mean, if Daniel Levy was the one if Daniel Levy said, I want Richarlison, I want Danjuma, I want Jed Spence, I want Bissouma, then that is obviously a problem, because what's the point of having a Paratici? But if Paratici said, I want Richarlison, I want Bissouma, I want Jed, I want whatever, then that shouldn't be a problem. That should be the way it goes, right? Because like I say, I'll go back to the point. If the average tenure of a manager is 18 months, but the average tenure of a player is 5 years plus, at least on one contract, if not 2, then you can't be buying players for managers all the time, because unless you have a consistent philosophy in your managerial ethos, where it doesn't matter, the next guy up the ranks is going to come in and essentially do the same thing, play the same style of football and a similar formation, which is what we should do, which was what we don't do. Exactly, right? But to me, it depends on if it's Levy that's buying these players and basically saying, shut up, Paratici, shut up, Conte, I'm doing it, then of course that makes him the world's worst chairman when it comes to footballing things. But if it's not, if it's actually Paratici that's doing it, then I don't know if that's... You maybe hired the wrong director of football, but
that problem has predated Paratici, where we've heard that before.
Yeah,
that's what I will say. And the only constant in that is Daniel Levy. So
can I just say something though? The problem I have with that though, Sean, is whoever's made the signing, Conte's obviously not happy with it, right? And for me, like, it's his fault as well. Because for me, if you're a winner, and again, like I said, we're the ones that went to him, not the other way round, twice, by the way.
I agree.
I think you should have walked. He should have walked. You know, and this is the thing. It's the whole Danjuma thing is embarrassing. Right? It's absolutely embarrassing. I feel sorry for the lad now.
Yeah, same.
I literally sitting there. I was watching him on the touchline, because Nick. Big up to you, Nick, and Jack. Well, Nick, because he got me the ticket, the free ticket. He got me perfect seats, and I watched him, and he looked annoyed. He looked annoyed.
You're 3-0 up against Forest with 10 minutes to go. The 3 points are in the bag. If you're not going to take that moment to try Danjuma, and then instead you bring on Lucas Moura, who you know is leaving the club.
Well, he's had testimonials. It's testimonials. That's it, really, basically.
The Champions League against AC Milan, where you need to go through, should be a Danjuma on the pitch. It should have been there should have been not centre backs left on the pitch by that time in that last 5 minutes. Fucking all the bastards on.
Yeah,
Moura, Danjuma. The area should be packed.
Going back to the point about how Tottenham Hotspur is run, Tottenham Hotspur reminds me of a family vacation I had in Alcudia in about 2004, where my dad asked everyone, what do you want to eat for dinner? And we had a massive argument because my mum wanted to go here, I wanted to go here, and my brothers wanted to go here. So my dad punished us by going to 5 different restaurants and saying, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. That is what Tottenham Hotspur is. One person wants to go to the Chinese, one person wants to eat Indian, one person wants a pizza, one person wants to get ice cream because they're fucking weird, and then someone wants to eat Spanish food. There is no continuity.
But Ben, this is the point. This is why I bring this back full circle every time. With everything, the people that are arguing with me about Levy, I don't know what you're trying to convince me it's Levy. I get it, right? I know it's Levy. I know it's the owners in my mind. But the very reason that you argue that with me, not you, Ben, the very reason these people argue that with me is the very reason why Conte doesn't make sense at this football club. That they want to have it all ways. They want to sit there and go, Levy's the devil, he's the worst manager ever, but we should sign Conte for another 3 years. Why then? Why? You're telling me what we already know, that Levy's not going to back the manager, that he's not going to get the players he wants, right? So why give Conte another contract? Why has Conte not signed a contract?
Well, the point is, Savva, the conversation's already had already. You see what I'm saying? If they haven't had the conversation already, what have they been doing for the last year and a half?
I agree.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And they were begging up. They were having celebrations when we got top 4, because that's our trophy, by the way. I've been told that's a trophy now these days. You know what I mean? You know, which makes no sense. You know what I mean? Rather going to the box office, you're getting it on video. You know,
Blockbuster.
We're getting on pirate, mate. We're doing pirate.
That's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. You know what I mean? You know, it's just I don't get it, bro. You know, rather than going to Asda or M&S, you're going to Lidl's. You know what I mean? The pound shop. No disrespect to the pound shop, by the way, because it's a hard time at the moment. But you know,
Marks and Spencer.
but you know, but this is what I'm trying to say.
No disrespect to the pound shop.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Shout out pound shop. Shout out pound man.
Is there? Asda is on the floor. Don't disrespect Marks.
But just getting back onto the point, I'm saying, Savva. You know what? I'm all for everyone. Yeah, I'm all for this because I am Levy out. Yeah, but I'm sorry. I'm done with this whole thing about Levy out because it hurts me. It hurts me. It hurts me when I see young boys like Daniel, yeah, having to talk about it, and he's 14 years old. He should be just looking forward to seeing great players at our club, bruv. Yeah,
I agree.
That's what hurts me. That's what hurts me.
Super smart kid, though.
No. But I'm not arguing the point. But I'm not arguing the point that he's not smart. My point is, all he has to talk about is Daniel Levy.
Well, yeah, that's
and he's 14 years old.
He shouldn't have to do that, though. You know.
No, it's not right.
That's out of choice, though. He doesn't need to do that. We don't talk about it all day long. You know.
Yeah,
that's just because of what it's out of choice.
I like that.
Lovely guy.
It's not that I'm not saying he's a lovely guy. I'm just saying.
I know.
Yeah.
I like Dan, but agreed. You know, him and I were on a show the other night. We were on with Kaz, you know, MUFC Kaz, and it just you're not able to have any football conversation because the answer to everything is Daniel Levy.
Yeah.
And it just becomes a bit. Yeah, I get it. I want him out as well, but you all know my opinion on wanting Daniel Levy out and the owners. It's wonderful. I want it to happen, but we all also know that they've built a global business empire that is not going anywhere until they decide it's going somewhere, right? But let me move on from this quickly. I just want to quickly say, look, people, can I get 4 more subscribers to get me to 3,600? There's 391 of you. I don't believe you've all subscribed. Please all subscribe if you haven't. And there's nearly 400 of you and only 109 likes. Smash the like button.
Get those burner accounts going, Shawnee. Get those
accounts all get your burner accounts out. Listen, what I would say to people as well is we've got to stop being nicer. It's just football opinions, guys, right? It's just football opinions. Some of the comments in the chat are just crazy.
Yeah,
let me just quickly.
Coover said Kit Kat was a biscuit. What the fuck are you talking about?
Let me come to this comment. TJ said, "You said you don't want Conte to be our manager. Why is it unreasonable to say that you've got an agenda, especially when you're mainly negative about his tenure? Own your agenda."
Agenda's just a word for an opinion you don't agree with, isn't it?
Of course, of course. I was literally about to say that, Sean. Why is it agenda? Yeah. Because I don't like his style, right? That's on me. I'm not. And the one thing I'm not doing, Sean, or all of you, I'm not telling anybody in the chat that they have to agree with me. That purely, I'm old and ugly enough to own my opinion that I don't like his football. I'm not negative about his tenure. If he was brought in to finish 4th last year and 4th this year, cool, he's going to achieve that. I'm just bored watching him play, and in the cups, he's absolutely dreadful. Ron has said, I don't want Conte out. We're just a few players away from Conte's style of play. I want him to stay, as we'll never see an outcome if we just keep letting managers go in one season. Success takes time. Again, Ron, he's the one that signed an 18-month contract, not us. We're tied in.
Let's pivot because I actually think Ron's got it's an interesting point, because if you do pivot to a back four next season, right, on one hand it's easier that you don't have to necessarily go out and spend a lot of money on 2 centre backs. You really only need one massive splash there, but at the same time you're going to inherit. You've got Pedro Porro, who for me looks good. He's looking better. I like the ability to cross the ball, but I think he's defensively suspect. He gets his pocket picked. I don't think he doesn't understand the pace of the game in the Premier League yet. And on the left, you're going to bring in this guy, Destiny Udogie, who's only ever played in a left wing back spot, hasn't played at left back yet for Udinese. So like you are going to bring in these, like you might have to face the facts that you're going to have square pegs, round holes if you bring in somebody else in who does play a back four. So to Ron Vignac's point, or to flip the argument, Savva, your argument is Conte's only here for 18 months. We're pretty certain he's leaving. If out of nowhere this week there were suddenly news dropped from Sky Sports, Antonio Conte is progressing with new contract talks at Tottenham Hotspur and looking to structure a 2-year deal, 2-year extension. Knowing what you're going to get with that, all the things you previously mentioned about that means that Conte's got on board with the Levy principles of running a team, etc. But knowing that you are, to Ron's point, only a few players away from getting that model of formation pretty set, and also factoring in the fact that under a back four you're probably going to have more square pegs and round holes. Would you get behind it?
I'd have no choice to get behind than to get behind.
Okay, but would you be happy, or would you be begrudgingly?
I think the thing for me is the whole conversation, Sean, for me has become about Conte the last year or so at this football club. And my opinion has been bigger than the manager of this football club for nearly 2 decades. My opinion has always been, and Pete, you've known me probably the longest of everyone in this chat room. My opinion has always been, it doesn't matter who the manager is unless there's a plan in place. So yeah, sure, sign Antonio Conte for another 2 years, cool. Bring him in a couple of players that we can try and win now, right? But what does that do for the future? What are we creating? Are we then saying the next manager that comes in after Conte is going to be a cookie cutter of Antonio Conte? Are we now saying that everything's going to be okay with our youth academy and our scouting and our director of football? This is the thing for me. It needs to get worse before it gets better. And the people that just keep shouting back Conte, you were right, Sean. This is the problem. Do I believe all of those players were his? No. Do I believe a player like Basuma, who has been brilliant in the Premier League for 4 years and plays in a midfield three, do I believe that he would have wanted him? Why wouldn't he? He screams of an Antonio Conte player. Yeah. He screams of it. But are we literally going to say, guys, that next season any player that comes in and does well is a Conte signing,
and anyone who doesn't
comes in and doesn't do well, because Perisic is a Conte signing.
100%, he must have been. Yeah,
shit.
I don't think Kulu and Bentancur were his signings. I don't think they were. I think they just got lucky.
I agree.
To be honest with you, and that's why.
But nobody ever questions whether Conte was backed last January because it worked out.
No, because the thing is, I said that season, you know this, Savva, because I was on a show and I've been consistent with this as well. I said last season was very much overrated, because we have one game a week. Also happens now, we've got 1 game a week now, we're talking about now, and now Tottenham fans are saying that we could do well now. You know what I mean? Which is a problem, which is a massive problem, again. You know what I mean? So... yeah, well, I don't get it.
Let me rather than so the point I was trying to make about the formation, because we're going to inherit the players like Udogie, Pedro Porro spent a lot of money on him. Like, does he fit a back four? Does Udogie? Not entirely sure. Like, would you think, is there a stronger argument to have a manager like Amorim in from Sporting, because he plays a back five, but he's also a young, hungry manager that could play that could be the kind of the project style guy, who also plays a system where the squad that we're going to have next season maybe helps.
It depends on whether they've got a plan, because the point is, at the moment, I don't see Tottenham having a plan here. I mean, when you see some of the managers that they've got at the moment that they're, touting for, I don't look at those managers. I mean, Luis Enrique. When I heard that Paratici wants him, as soon as they said that, I was like, no, I don't want him then, because you know exactly Paratici's just going for the star name. He's not going for the actual what is the strategy of where he wants Tottenham to be in the next few years, and what do we want us to play like? It's just like, well, no, he's a good manager. Let's get him in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because all my contacts can get good players for him and plays ticky-tacky football.
Well,
But
it's
he
a,
doesn't
it's, a, it's, a,
understand-
it's a 180 immediate. If he does come in, it's an entire pivot back again, away
Yeah,
from
that's
the
what I'm
style of
saying.
management we currently
Because the
have.
thing is, though, that's why I'm saying.
Tottenham.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I don't want Zazabi at the moment, because I'm looking at it like this. They're going on because they see what he's doing at Brighton at the moment. Yeah, they're not doing their research on this guy. They haven't done their research on this guy. Where I believe in Brighton at the moment is because they've done research. Yeah, they know exactly what they're getting with him.
Agreed.
Yeah, and that's it.
Agreed.
You know, and this is the thing. That's why at the moment I actually starting to agree with what Bob says, because he's the first person saying this. Mason in, get Mason in then, because at least you know what you're going to get with Mason.
Why? Hang on.
Because I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. So
How does Mason coming in change?
Well, no,
that?
I'm just saying because I don't think they've done their research on managers at the moment, right? They're just going on what they've done in the past and stuff like that. They don't know whether this is a good fit of how they work and how they are as a person, if they will connect.
Yeah, right.
And stuff.
Okay. So if they haven't done their research, then wait until the end of the season. But there's no point in
wait
getting
till
rid
the
of
end of the
Conte
season,
then.
but
Let
you can
Conte
get
finish
Mason-
the season then, right?
Well, no.
No.
What I'm saying is, until they've sorted that out, until they know what they're doing, I'd rather just put Mason in, because that's the only person that's going to listen to Levy and work with them, because he's worked with them before, and that's it. And he's always been there, and that's it. That's the only reason why I'm saying Mason in at the moment, because I even if I say Pochettino, which I have said, yeah, right, I think he's going to go into the Lions' Den again. For me, I think he's going in the Lions' Den where he's going to fail again. Because I think he's such a nice
he'd be
guy.
given more patience, though, right? If like,
Yeah.
the point you made earlier about not having Thomas Tuchel back, Thomas Tuchel, ex-Chelsea, disliked by a lot of Tottenham fans, maybe a good manager, maybe interesting, whatever. But if he comes in and struggles, there won't be very much patience for him. If Poch comes in, people that are asking for like give Conte the 3 years like Arteta got his 3 years, I think most Tottenham fans would be more willing to get on board that with the patience with Pochettino
But
than
I
they would
think
Thomas
There's
Tuchel.
only one thing that Thomas Tuchel does have, though, and that is he grew up watching Tottenham. I don't know if he watched Tottenham in the 90s. I hope he fucking didn't, unless he's a Christian Gross fanboy. He's going to walk into the stadium
He's
with
football boring. He's football shit.
It's boring football as well, though, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
but if he understands the club, because he self-said, I used to be a Tottenham fan growing up. He's said this on record. It might work if he understands how the club is and he understands the history, the history, the Tottenham. He might work. I don't want Thomas Tuchel to go.
I don't want Thomas Tuchel at all.
What I would personally like is to say, right, it doesn't work. We have not got an owner that likes to win. What we need to do is focus on building the academy. Get rid of that barrier that's apparently there between the academy and the first team, get the academy to work with the first team, and you have players from the academy going straight into the first team. And that is what's called Ajax, because that's what they do. They don't buy stupidly expensive players because they've already got ready-made players. Instead of spending hundreds of millions of pounds on players, we've got one in the academy.
Yeah, but how long does that thing take? Because our youth system is so shit.
Yeah. If one of the things I hate about this club is the lack of transparency. If they come out and say, this is what we're going to do, it's on a piece of paper and someone has signed it, you think, cool, that is a plan. I can get on board with this. It's the fact it's a scattergun approach. One moment we're over there. One moment we're here. One moment we're there. One moment we're there. One moment we're here.
But Ben, when you suggest these things, but this is the thing. You've got fans saying they hate how the club is run. So when I'm suggesting, okay, cool, let's put a plan in place with a manager that wants to build, which might mean we don't get top four for a few years, people go, oh, what manager's going to come in and win? I don't think people listen, Ben.
That is part of the problem, though, because the guy at the top of the football club is,
I know.
as Alex has said, top four is our everything.
No, I know, but hang on, that wasn't
never work because top four is he won't want to build from.
No, I know, but Ben, but that wasn't my point. That wasn't where I was going with that. My point wasn't about that, right?
Yeah.
My point, I've forgotten my point now.
Let me go. Listen,
Hang on.
go on.
No, go on. I've forgotten now. I've forgotten.
All right, I was going to say getting Enrique in would be as big a mistake as it is getting Conte in, get Mourinho in, because he is not a fit for the club in his current state. Yeah, we do not have the players to play his style of football. Yeah, so it will just be very frustrating him trying to do one thing with players who can't do it. It's exactly just because we like his style of football and it's seen as more positive. It doesn't mean a solution, because when you've got to look at the bigger picture, it's the same problem. We're bringing in managers in who are not suited to what we've currently got and not how we operate. We'd have to have a whole transition in the club amongst a squad, most of it.
What players would like you need if to do the Enrique system? You need to have a really high line, right? You need to be a tick attacker. So you need a high line. You need fast defenders.
You're playing tick attacker, yeah. So that's all the back.
Højbjerg can't do that.
No.
And obviously Dyer, Davies, Longley can't do that, right?
There you go.
I don't think any of our squad
can't do
do
that.
I think Ollie Skip could be moulded. I think Ollie Skip
No.
to mould. No,
Fraser Forster is tiki taka number one. Don't
Royal definitely not. Richarlison definitely not. Son definitely
Richarlison not. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Richarlison
Son definitely not. He's not technically good enough. The only one that could probably do it is probably Kane.
Yeah. Could Decky do it?
Maybe. Listen, on Decky, I think like that's what annoyed me, and I said it earlier in the summer when people were saying we don't need to sort that position now because we've got Kulu at 21, and I was like, well, if you think that's the finished article at 21, and then that's it now, we're fixing that position, then he's just going to go like that. And I'm not saying that's what's happened, but maybe we'd only seen him for a few months. Maybe this is the Decky that was at Juventus that we normally see. That is everywhere, so we don't know. Yeah. Get too quickly, but
too early to
we cannot go full for Enrique because it's just the same problem. Because the club ain't going to spend the money to buy all these players who can play there when a very small percentage of them can play that style of football. And the same reason why, Sean, when you're saying about going for another manager who plays free at the back, for me that's equally no, because that really limits the sort of players that you can get going forward.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I agree with you. I don't want it.
Most teams and managers play a back four. So when we see players like who come on the market for cheap and this one could be available, and players go, oh, we should get him. But actually, no, we can't because he don't fit in the way we play. When you see all these players, because most of them playing like a midfield three.
Do you think Porro can fit in a back four? Do you think that Destiny Udoji could fit in a back four?
Yes, with a proper defensive.
I think they're young enough. Yes, I think we can do it because they've not been playing either way too long enough to be sort of rigid in that way of thinking. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it will happen straight away, but I do think they're young enough, especially Destiny, to go, okay, this is what you're going to do.
Probably could, yeah.
Yeah, because Porro, if he plays for his national team, he ain't going to play as in the back three. They don't play a back three, though, Portugal. They play.
He's Spanish. I think he's Spanish. Right. No, I think he's Spanish. Yeah.
There you go. So he'd have to play in that system.
If you've got a player like Victor Wanyama, for example, drops into the back three, the two centre backs split, centre midfielder drops into the back three, full backs get up the pitch, then it's fine. It works. That's how Pochettino played. It's how Walker and Rose played. That is what you need.
I agree.
Well, who's our Victor Wanyama then? Who's that going to be?
No idea.
That's the thing. It's about a plan, isn't it? I've just remembered my point as well. My point was this, right? Sorry, it just popped into my head. Point was this. Everyone keeps saying about, which manager comes in next and wins if Conte can't? I think we're completely missing the point. We're not ready to win.
Yeah, we're miles away from trophies, aren't we? Yeah.
The next manager that comes in, I'm not saying that if you bring in another manager that they'll win a trophy next season or the season after. What I'm saying is that our current manager, his contract is ending, and our current manager, if he can't win now, when he is a win now manager, winning trophies should now take a bit of a back burner for the moment, not the long run. By the way, before I get accused of having no ambition, in the short term, we should build something, build an identity, build an ethos, build a plan. Conte is not that guy. And just quickly,
It has to be good football, though, right? It has to be good football. The identity has to include attractive fucking football.
I want to see football. I saw this comment. It just made me laugh. He said, Savva, I agree with you, but your comments and thoughts absolutely disgust me. Okay. We're in the top 4 comfortably, 2 points upon United, and yet you are talking like as if we're having a poor season. Jace, another one who's not listening.
I don't understand this comment. How can you?
I agree with you, but you're disgusting.
I hate how I agree with you, Savva.
Self-loathing. He's self-loathing.
The key thing for me about this is I'm the person that has said we're going to finish 4th all season. I think you've all heard me say that multiple times. Yeah. I predicted it at the beginning of the season. I think we'll finish 4th. I haven't changed my opinion on that. I'm not one of these people who said, oh my God, we're going to finish 7th, 8th, 9th, because Harry Kane will always get us up there, right? The problem is, I don't like his football. That's me. And the biggest problem, I will repeat again until people start to remember this, his contract is over in May/June. Please, can we stop talking like he's on a 5-year contract? I will back Conte when Conte backs Conte. I can't be fairer than that, can I?
No, but we are having a poor season. I don't see what he's on about. It's because the other teams around us have been... Liverpool have dropped off a cliff. Chelsea dropped off a cliff this year. If they don't do that, we're nowhere to be seen. We can still get caught. And there's a lot of teams around us that have got games in hand. Some of them got 3. So that is, I don't get this point about we're 4th, so everything's okay. It's not. Yeah, we are playing crap. We are 4th because we played more games than everyone else, not because we're the 4th best team. Let's have that right, and we will get caught. Have no fear. But this whole 4th thing winds me up as well, because fans go, we're 4th, and they wet their knickers when we get 4th at the end of the year, like last year. But then they moan about this club never wants to win trophies, always obsessed about its top 4, blah blah. Yet then you're wetting your knickers over that agenda. Then when it comes to playing top 4 at the end of the season, go bollocks. We don't want that. We're not happy we got top 4. We're pissed off because we never won anything. Until we start having that mentality and saying that, you can't then moan when we get knocked out of a cup. Oh fuck, and then wet your knickers over top 4 because you've got to go one.
You know what is weird though, right? Everybody is wetting their knickers about Manchester United. They're saying that Man United are back, how brilliant they've been this season. They are only 2 points ahead of us. I know they've got a game in hand. But when you think about how frustrated Tottenham fans are with how our season's turned out, and I'm not trying to go against my own point here because I think the season has been a really frustrating disappointment. But Manchester United fans are waxing lyrical about their manager and think that they're back on, everything's back on track for Man United, but they are only 2 points. If we beat
they're
any of
just
those,
as up and down as we are, Sean. They're just as up and down, but they go go on spells. They go on a run, then they go on a shit run.
It's context.
Look how they started.
It's context. With Man United, it's context. I hear this a lot. Like when people talk about should we adopt the Brighton model, and people say, well, we're above Brighton in the league. Well, the context is, of course, we're above Brighton in the league. They don't have Kane, Son, and Kulusevski. If they did, I'd hate to think where Brighton would be in a title battle for me if they had our front 3. But that's a different story, right? The point is with Man United is look where they were when he took over compared to now. That's it. And again, Sean, I'm not sort of saying about you, but you brought up Man United again in the summer. Whenever you spoke to anyone about Man United, it was it will take him years to get back into the top 4. It will take them years to do that. They've just won a cup. Yeah. And they are deep into 2 other competitions. They're in all 4. Right? Spurs are sitting here right now playing once a week and knocked out of everything. Right?
And they won a cup.
There's the difference for me.
I need to say this as well.
Again.
I need to say this as well. And by the way, on that comment saying that you've got no ambition, Savva, I've got no ambition because I want Pochettino. I don't think we're going to win trophies with him as well because I want to rebuild. I want to build again. But I don't think we're going to get trophies because we need to build again and start building that house again. That's going to take a lot of years to sort this whole rubbish out. So I've got no ambition then. I must not have any ambition as well. You know what I mean? But you're not going to talk to me like that because I'm Mr. Box Office and that's it. First, another thing as well, right? Manchester United have got a plan. Yeah, they play good football and I have that all day long. Yeah. Henry Wright was saying he was banging on about Ten Hag, yeah. I said, what are you talking about? He's never near Tottenham, yeah. He was always right. he was right. Yeah, I admit when I'm wrong, he was right. He was absolutely right about this guy. Yeah, because look what he's done at Man United, turn around when they were an absolute joke last season. Yeah. So Tottenham fans, because I'm getting this, I'm getting a bit fed up of Tottenham fans. The gift that keeps on giving. Yeah, they're saying the Carabao Cup is a tin pot cup. There, I've been told that was our last trophy. That was our last trophy that you're making fun of. By the way, last trophy. So I think you need to start putting perspective on your name and put respect on that cup, bruv, because that's a cup that we could have won and should have won against a team was the second team, Nottingham Forest, that we beat yesterday, by the way. And that's it. Back to you, Sarah. I'm done.
Yeah, look. I think it's interesting. I think, look, first of all, seeing people say that the only reason, I'm talking like this is because Arsenal winning at the top of the league at the moment. For me, that's got nothing to do with us. That's got nothing to do with where we are as a football club. If Arsenal were 10th or first, we've still got our same issues, right? We've still
a lot of fans are affected by Arsenal's rise to dominance again. A lot. You might not be. I'm not so much, but I know a lot of people are. Pissed off. They do have one eye on Arsenal all the time, and it's the first time in about 6 years.
I'm not unhappy about how Arsenal are playing because they've showed you how to run a football club. They've brought a project manager in. They said, "What is your plan?" They've built a plan, and they are executing the plan to perfection. They've got rid of the players that the manager didn't want. They got the players they did want. They brought in players like Saliba. They brought in players through the academy like Saka and Smith Rowe. They brought in Gabriel Jesus. They've built a team, and that is what we should be doing. They are the blueprint. They should say they were miles behind us. Our stadium's going to be paid off before theirs at this rate because of how much more revenue we make via our stadium. That is the blueprint. We should be copying that. We should be copying the way they're.
At the same time, though, Ben, if they end up this season finishing second and not winning any trophies, then it's going to be another forgettable. Like if you finish second, you might as well finish fourth or whatever else. There's no big difference, is there? You know what I mean? Like where everyone's assuming that Arsenal are going to do some.
It depends what happens after that because they've gone from fifth to a challenge.
I don't see them being able to have it that easy next year. This year has been a really, really weird season with big teams falling away, new teams that are starting to emerge.
They won't, Sean, because next year they'll have to play their better team in the Champions League where every Thursday they can rest a lot of them. So they do have that advantage. But next year, you look at the progress for them, they've gone from like 8th to 7th, blah, blah. Last year, 5th, just this year, they then kicked on. I think that's the thing. I think they've kicked on from last year and then took it up a level. And let's be honest, I mean, it pains me to say it, but they've had a lot of the season now without Nketiah. Everyone's like, that's it now, they're fucked. They've lost Jesus, that's the end of them. And they're still top the league and they've had Nketiah. 4 goals in that time. They're still there. Do you know what I mean?
Everything's gone their way this season, but if they end up finishing second this season and not coming home with a trophy, and then next year it's back to business for Liverpool, it's back to business for Chelsea,
then we'll find out, won't we?
And if they fall back to 4th or 5th again, I bet you all the people that were screaming Arteta out 18 months ago that right now are saying that Arteta's the king. They'll pivot back to they'll flip flop back to Arteta out.
That's football fans. That's football fans, isn't it? We're all fickle. Yeah, look at our fans. 1 minute Conte. If we win, Conte's a genius. If we lose, Levy out. It's like it's the same thing. There's stupid fans amongst all the fan base that will say it. But I think a lot of them.
But with Arsenal, they are the way they're running at the moment. Like let's say they finish second this year, they're not finishing second. They're winning the league this year.
I think they're finishing second.
I think they're finishing second.
They're not. They're finishing first.
They've got to play.
Hypothetically, they finish second. They will see. They will say to Arteta, "Where do you think you got it wrong this year?" Oh, I don't think our left back was good enough. I don't think this player was good. Right, let's strengthen in that position, and they will spend all their money on that position because the rest of the team works. Whereas our club. Conte, let's say Conte, goes and says, I need a centre-back. They buy Danjuma. That's our club. We don't listen. And it goes back.
No, hang on, Ben, hang on. No, hang on. But depending on who you speak to. So, like, for example, when Danny Kiriakou came on here, big up, Danny, if you're watching, Danny said, right, from his contacts inside the club, that the defenders they tried to sign since Conte's been here have been those 3. Vardiol, Undercar and Bastoni, right? Undercar turned us down. This is what Undercar turned us down. Bastoni wouldn't have moved, and Vardiel had a £90 million bid turned down from Chelsea. We ain't going to match that.
Yeah, and all three of those players are still out their clubs, by the way. It's not like we've been gazumped and they've gone somewhere else.
No.
They're still where they are, right? So
Yeah, they're still where they are. But the point is, everyone said in the window, Ben, well, we can't get that player now, so Conte's happy to wait for that defender.
I don't think Conte's that sort of bloke.
Well,
Knowing he would have a contingency plan. He's not been in the game long enough to not say.
It's not for him to do that, is it? It's Paratici. That's
Paratici's job.
Also, for Paratici, knowing that he's brought in Conte, this is where Paratici can be criticised because he knows this man better than most people because he worked with him at Juventus for 3 years and he's brought him back personally. If he can't get Bastoni, let's get this player because it's a similar mould. And the scouts.
But Ben, at the same time, mate, Conte did say he was asked after the Aston Villa defeat. You know, have you got problems with your defence? Do you want to focus on defence in January in the window? And he said no.
But
you say that, but you say that he wouldn't throw the defence under the bus. I understand that he doesn't necessarily criticise individuals, but he doesn't go out of his way to protect individuals. He said what he said about Jed Spence on his arrival, day one in the new job, wasn't my time. He's made like a series of poignant comments about specific areas of the team before that haven't exactly protected them. After the Sheffield United game, or was it the Nottingham Forest game? He said, "I question." It was after a series of mistakes by Eric Dyer. He said, "I question the mental strength, the kind of the ability to handle pressure of certain players." My point is that when people say, "Oh, he's not," the reason why he said he doesn't need defenders is because he's not going to come out and say that he does need defenders.
Sean, because he's only got 4 centre backs and they're all crap.
But this was in the January window, right? He said he was asked whether or not Tottenham need to focus, and he said, "No, I'm very happy with the defence that I've got."
It goes back to the point where we couldn't make any more signings because we got too many foreign players. We got too many foreign players and we got too many players out on loan, so we can't ship players out on loan, which we tried to do with Matt Doherty, and then we figured out we've only got 9. We've already got 8 players out on loan, or however many it was.
Well, we did bring in Danjuma, right? So you could have brought in an extra, rather than bringing him in. If Antonio Conte said, "I do need a centre back," we could have gone and got somebody. And whether it was a foreign player or an English player, whatever, there was an option. The only point I'm making, again, it's all hypothetical. The only point I'm making is that to Savva's point about the three defenders we went after, Ndicka, Vardiol, and Bastoni, none of them left their clubs. None of them, we might have gone after them, inquired, but nothing happened. There was no going for it. He tolerated Longley on a season-long loan. Then later on in the season was asked whether or not our defence is good enough. He said no. He also said he was happy in the summer. Like, to make the argument that he got thrown under the bus by Paratici or Levy, well, I'm just saying that there's evidence straight from the horse's mouth that he was okay. He was okay. He went down a different path. He said he was okay with what he had. It's turned out we all think we're not okay in that department, but you can only take the guy on his word. He said that he thought he was okay. So
but Mourinho did the same thing. And if you're telling me that both Mourinho and Conte are happy with Eric Dyer, Davis, and Sanchez in your defensive line,
he wants to give Eric Dyer a new contract, though. Conte wants to give Eric Dyer a new contract.
Well, basically, Conte is going to stick it to Levy and say, "Well, you're fucked with Eric Dyer for the next 5 years."
but that wasn't the point I was making. Again, it's fans want to keep changing their mind on their opinions. When I turned around in the summer and said that was shocking, how did we not get a minimum of 1, but more realistically 2 top centre backs? All the fans that are now telling me now that we can't defend because we don't have centre backs were the same fans. A lot of them I see, same fans telling me, "Yeah, but we're going to get our targets next summer. They weren't available this summer. Conte was happy to wait."
Right? Jacob has got it spot on. United's about 840. Jurgen Klopp, who is another elite manager, said, "I did not need any more centre midfielders." When it's clear to everyone,
of course,
he's lying. It's the same thing. Their midfielders dropped off, which is why Liverpool are. Where are Liverpool now? 7th, 8th? Where are Liverpool? I can't remember.
But Ben, this comes back to one thing. Yeah, I think Alex said this earlier. At the end of the day, what I'm being told is, and I'm not disagreeing with any of this, I'm just saying the things I hear are Conte wasn't backed. We didn't back him with anyone he wanted. Okay, There's one, right? Conte wanted a longer contract, people are telling me, but Levy wouldn't give him one. Okay, there's two. Conte didn't want Spence, Danjuma, didn't want all these players. Okay. He's not walked.
Because he needs the money, because he's been scammed out a lot of money.
But
That's why he's here.
How much
basically.
money has he been scammed out of?
£27 million.
I just feel like whatever we
Wow.
whatever
Find that on
whatever
Sky
is-
Sports News. It's not like this is.
Wow.
It's on Sky Sports News. You can find it, but in
What happened
context,
to him? What happened to him? Did he get the old Nigerian drilling email and all that?
there's an Italian. I can't remember the name, but there's an Italian thing that scammed a load of politicians, mayors, people like that out of a load of money. But they also got a few footballers as well. It's through a thing they use.
but,
Just need to type in Conte scandal Italy, and it will come up on Sky Sports.
but this
it's
is
well
what I
taken.
don't get right. This is I want to go to this comment, and this is something that Sean alluded to earlier, and I want to talk about this. When we're saying we didn't sign the players he wanted, how many of these signings went straight into the 11? Compare it to Arsenal. Arteta clearly wanted Jesus and Zinchenko there in his 11 every week. But in the January transfer window, when we got Benton Court and Kulusevski, were they his players? Can anyone answer that?
Well, who? Well, sorry. Well, who's who? Which one? Kulusevski and Benton.
Benton Court and Kulusevski, who we bought in on the last day of the window.
Yeah.
After failing to get Adama Traore and Luis Diaz, who
Yeah.
went to other clubs, right? Were they Conte players?
No.
No, they
No.
weren't. But you know what? But nobody ever reflects and says he wasn't backed in that window because the two players worked out, which is my
Because it
point
works out.
about
I agree.
looking through the rearview mirror about whether someone's backed. It all depends on whether the players, if the players turn out to be superstars, then there's never a question. If you're asking whether he was backed, the answer is always no, because you're only asking the question if the players didn't work out.
Well, you know my answer, Savva, because who calls them rejects? Yeah, who's the person that called them rejects? Yeah, your boy, Mr. Box Office. Yeah. So you know what I mean, and I still get flat for it every single time. So you know what I
was
mean.
never a reject.
That's all I need to say.
The last season,
No.
Juventus won. Last season, Juventus won a Scudetto. Bentancur was quality. It's like we knew he was a good player. He was a good player when they won the Scudetto. It was obvious. Kulusevski, you could say he's a young player, didn't fit in with Allegri because if you look at where Juventus are at the moment with some of the things with Paul Pogba, the Juventus players don't exactly like Allegri at the moment, and the fans are not happy. Happily that I know loads of Juventus fans, and they're not happy with Allegri. They're not happy with him. So it's context. Certain players fit certain managers. Some players don't fit other managers. It's a fact of football.
But this is the thing, Ben. But this is the point, Ben. I think like what Sean was alluding to earlier. And sorry, tell me if I'm wrong here, Sean. But because Bentancur and Kulusevski went straight in and worked out, everyone said that was a really good window, and then Conte was brilliant because he put them straight in. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In the summer, are we truly saying that Basuma couldn't have walked into this 11? Basuma's been brilliant in the Premier League for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right? Gets to Tottenham Hotspur, and he's not very good. And no one then turns around and says, "Oh, that's Conte." It feels like it's, and hence why I always say there's a lot of blame to go around. I think all the blame gets put in one place, right? But had Basuma been fit now and Bentancur was out injured, we might see Basuma being brilliant. And then if he had turned out well, we'd say, yeah, that was a Conte signing.
Yeah, and how many games was he given to learn to figure it out? He was given one. He played awful against West Ham away in the first half against West Ham. He was absolutely atrocious. Gets ripped up, gets hooked at halftime, I think it was, or in the 60th minute, and we don't see him again for a month. He basically had probably 45 minutes or 90 minutes spread over 3 or 4 games of decent football, where he played in the 3-5-2 system where he tidied things up. But that's not Conte's go-to system this season. It doesn't work. He doesn't seem to have fit a 3-4-3. But people made their minds up, and Conte made his mind up on Bissouma pretty much immediately. Right? Like he didn't really give him a chance. You look at Ollie Skip. Ollie Skip's first couple of games back, he looked really shaky and didn't have the confidence following his injury. But after Bentancur's injury and Bissouma's injury, he's come in, had a run of games now. And to me, Ollie Skip looks like the bright light at the end of a very long, dark tunnel. You know, because he's got getting a run of games and he seems to be increasing his confidence. Who's to say that same thing couldn't have happened with Bissouma?
I agree, Sean. Look at comments like this. So when SOS said Bentancur and Kulu are regular starters, they are upgrades. Yeah, of course, they were upgrades. But Richie isn't an upgrade. Neither is Basuma. I'm gonna respectfully disagree. I would have everyone in the summer was saying that's a great signing. Everyone.
everyone.
I didn't hear one
Not just Tottenham
Spurs
fans across the spectrum.
Right.
Arsenal fans.
Basuma
everyone.
has been brilliant for 4 years, and I'm sorry, what I've seen in the Premier League the last 4 years is Basuma an upgrade on Skip and Højbjerg. Yes, he is. Is he being played properly? Now, when you're saying if he can't play in a midfield too, then that's on him. Listen,
He probably could play. He just needs time to figure it out.
I've had this theory, and I might be dreadfully wrong, but I think that Basuma had long COVID. I think when he got COVID in the summer, but we don't know his vaccination status. We're not privy to that information, but it's very like as soon as he got that, you can tell he's not as athletic as he usually is. I personally believe he's had long COVID, and I think he's not the same player. And it's when he comes back from this injury, hopefully he's starting to feel better. But I think that has personally affected because long COVID is a thing. If anyone does not know someone that hasn't had COVID, it's like glandular fever. You have it; it affects you for months upon months.
But Ben, I think it's a brilliant signing, Basuma. I think a different manager.
He's perfect.
A different manager comes in. Whoever that be, I bet you see the best out of Basuma, right?
Possibly.
But you've got Perisic. He clearly wanted Perisic. That's his guy, right? Am I saying he's been backed to win a league? Of course I'm not. And I think people, I hear this all the time. I see loads of other people talking about my opinion of Conte without actually listening to my opinion, right? Sean nailed it earlier. Guy signs a contract. I sit here and shut up and go, cool. That's what we've got for the next few years. Right. Over to you, Antonio.
Yeah.
And then all those people that have been sitting there going, hasn't been backed. That is then on Antonio Conte, guys. That is then on him if he signs a new contract.
That's what I hope.
Right?
He signs a contract. All the accountability is on him. We can stop arguing amongst ourselves and
Agreed.
say full accountability on the director of football and the manager because he's got his guy. There's a team there. They've signed up to a thing. Now do your job. And if
what probability do you have that? Do you put Conte signing a new contract at?
Minus 1,500,000 and 72.2.
Is that because Daniel Levy won't make the promises that Conte will ask for, or is it because Conte is just to a degree homesick, wants to go home? The trouble with mourning the loss of his mates, him reflecting on what's important in life.
It's a mixture of many things. It's the wrong employee for the wrong club. Again, as we said earlier,
I agree.
It's the wrong employee for the wrong club. I like Conte as a manager. We can argue about this. I like Italian-style football because that's what I've grown up with. I've learned from Fabio Capello himself. He taught me about football. So I like Italian-style football. Who taught Conte the ropes about football? Fabio Capello. So I like Italian football. So I like Antonio Conte as a manager. But I, as a human being and as someone that's got a brain, has to see this does not work. It doesn't fit with the club.
This is the thing, Ben. This is the thing. I really wish everyone could understand this. I'm going to say this right now. So if anyone wants to clip this. If Antonio Conte signs a contract, cool, sign it. Keep him at the club. But then don't go mad when the players that we bring in the summer, that if they don't work, that can no longer be said, not his players, because he knows what he's signing into now. Guys, I want to talk about this. If Antonio's contract is going to be discussed in the summer, how important is it that this gets done within week 1 of the summer?
I don't see the point. I've got to be honest, Savva. I don't see the point.
Yeah, but hang on, Alex, that's not my point. That's not my point. The point is, if he's going to sign a contract, those conversations can't go a month into the summer. It can't be a will he, won't he sign, and then we get to the point where we're a month into the summer. We've now got to go and find a new manager. Yeah, we've done nothing in the transfer window, and all of a sudden, there's our excuse for next year already. It's got to be ruthless from Levy, right? It's either here's the contract, are you signing it? If not, out. Surely.
I'll just say the question because out of respect to your question, I'll answer the question. Yes, you're absolutely spot on. Yeah, they have to get it done in week 1. But for me, if you're doing it at the end of the summer, you're not organised as a club. Your priorities are not straight, as far as I'm
Agreed.
concerned. You know what I mean? I'm sorry
Agreed.
because you might as well just go back in time, like Back to the Future. Yeah, Back to the Future. Yeah, in a time machine, and go back to when what happened when we had no manager for how many days? 65 days or whatever it was. I don't know what it was
Yeah, it was
anyway.
long.
82 days, I think it was. Is it 82
Exactly.
days?
So I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, like I said before, it's just like if you haven't had the conversation already, and that we've got Don Paratici who's cooking, I was told, cooking what? Yeah, cooking nothing, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Paratici's mate, yeah, and they haven't had that conversation already. What is the point? What is the point? And to your point, Savva, you don't need to say any more because you spoke sense in what you're saying. Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I said the same thing you're saying. If Conte signs that contract, no moaning, no moaning. I've said it multiple times. If you know exactly what Tottenham's all about, you know what I mean? Yeah. You've been pulled. You've seen the summers. You've seen the transfer windows. It's been a joke. Yeah. You're not used to it. Yeah. So if you're signing that contract, you're happy with it, and I don't want to hear moaning, and that's it. And simple as that. You know what I mean?
Is-
I'm not going to back him anyway because he's still got to prove himself, and that's it. And that's all I need to say.
Sean, let me come to you with that. Just quickly before I do, sorry, I've been really bad. I haven't read out some of these super chats. So Love Music's given me 2 super chats. Said football is now a mercenary business. Sean, that was probably from much earlier in the show. Always a big supporter of the channel, so thank you, Love Music.
Pick up, loves. Pick up, mate.
We have a 1-year extension option on Conte. We'll continue talking about that, Sean. Is this going to be another typical saga in the summer? Is this going to overshadow again a plan? Because we're going to spend, Conte is telling us, isn't he? Now is not the time to talk about it. The club know my faults, right?
Yeah. And look, I think there's that one, but obviously also Harry Kane as well, right?
Yeah.
How quickly those two, not to get off the topic, but I did see someone on some Twitter quoting some journalist today saying that it's that there's absolutely no chance that Harry Kane said there's 0 chance to sign a new contract. I don't know if it's just, clickbait or whatever, but let's presume that we get through to May and neither of those situations are any clearer. 100%. There's always a bunch of distractions that stop Tottenham from just getting on with the build, the continuation. You've got 8 players coming back from loan. You've got Kane, the media circus that's going to be. Is he going to go to United? Is he not? The unsettling, the tapping up of that. Conte, I'd imagine, will be probably resolved more quickly because they'll sit down with him as soon as the season's done and say, yes or no. If the answer's no, shake hands, move on, because they'll need someone in. God forbid there's a situation where, like with what happened with Nuno at the start of this season, start of last season, where we went. What would it take 60 days to find the new manager? And he lasted how many? Did he even last the 60 days? I forget, but
God knows he wasn't here long.
Yeah, he wasn't here long, right? But all of these things, mate, are massive headaches that are absolutely gonna. We kick these things down. That we kick the can down the road with everything at Tottenham Hotspur. Ndombele, 3 years later, still going to be a Tottenham player. Lo Celso, Reguilon. Don't know if any of those players are going to come back, but either way, if Paratici is the man who's still going to be here, even if Conte's not. I don't know if those two come as a couple. If they don't, does Paratici? How's he going to get on with identifying and acquiring new players when he's got to go and find new homes? Temporary homes for the deadwood we couldn't get rid of before. Yeah, it's like this summer's not going to be easy. It's really not. It's going to be yet more. It's going to another, like, however many we had out on loan last season, we've got more on loan this season that are all going to come back that we have to make decisions on. So 80% of the time that Paratici's got, he's going to be spent dealing with shit that we don't want to have to deal with, whether it's Kane, Conte, or all these deadwood players. It's not going to be an easy summer. It's going to be a very frustrating summer once again, I'd imagine.
Pete, what did you reckon? Conte's been offered a contract, but has told them he won't do anything until the summer, or do you think there's a mutual agreement that nothing will be sorted out yet and it will happen in the summer?
I think there's been a mutual agreement that they're going to terminate at a certain point anyway. for me. I think it's already been done because you can't look at. I mean, you can't look at what's going on and look at Conte's body language, what he says, and think, right, yeah, let's keep him here a bit longer. Yeah, it's clearly he does not want to be there. So for me, I think it's just a case of I don't know why they haven't done it already. I think after his comments in the week and the way and what happened in the week, he should have been pulled. This whole notion of we're still fourth, so it's until we can't get fourth, he won't get sacked, which I find bizarre. Because why are you going to wreck the season, or what's left to claim for the season? Why are you going to wreck that? Just do it then. Why? You can see where it's going. That we're not going to get there the way things are going. So this is where leadership comes in for me. Where Daniel Levy's got to go right. I'm going to do something here. Not I'm going to fuck about and look at something else and worry about the next commercial deal. I got the football side is crying out for leadership because your main man. Paratici is going to be off because he's going to be banned. Yeah, and there's no point keeping him. The only place he buys players from is Italy, and he can't go there and buy players anymore. You know what I mean? It's like being banned from your local corner shop where you go and buy your paper every morning. You're not allowed in. Yeah, so he's useless. He's not all that anyway. Yeah, but so he can't go to his old stomping ground. So you need to get rid of him. As Sean says, you've got the whole situation with the players about that we can't sell because the whole of Europe is skint, so we're sort of waiting for that to pick up to try and buy our crap. Which there's been no stampede for any of them players. It's real leadership needs to happen. What we do with these players, what we do with Conte, what we do with Paratici, and for me the biggest problem is it don't seem to be there. We look rudderless at the moment because a real leader looks at what happened in the week and what Conte was saying, basically baiting the board to sack him and go, do you know what? Fuck it, you're going to get sacked. Yeah, I ain't having that. Yeah, I'm not. That's you're out of order. That is not. I will not take the piss out of. So and off you go. And if it was Mason or then they got a Poch, whatever, but you don't allow that to continue. The fact it has continued, and let's be honest, it would have continued even more if he didn't go off sick. Yeah, is a real worry for me about the lack of leadership of the club. Because it just looks rudderless. And we lurch from this every week. Let's be honest, every week. It's all right now because we beat Forest, but if we didn't, it'd be like we'd be having this conversation tonight and it'd be all, he's definitely going this week. Let's be honest, everyone thought he was going to get sacked on Thursday. Everyone, yeah. We're just waiting. People were turning their notifications on and all that because it was coming.
Yeah, Peter, as I said, the free games coming after that, I think, have fallen nicely for Spurs.
Yeah, but then it just
the international break as well, though, right? Something might happen then.
It's just kicking the can down the road again because you're just waiting for. There's no guarantee we're going to win them games, but then what does that prove? It's like winning against Forest. It proves nothing because they're games you're expected to win regardless. So there's no achievement in doing it. So
what games have we played this season where we've actually outperformed expectations in the results? Chelsea,
Man
City.
Chelsea.
We didn't outperform
Chelsea because they were poor. But I think Man City, who just dicked us a few weeks prior, and we're sort of turning the corner a bit. That was it, But we've done that before, so we've got history there. But other than that, there's not
Chelsea. Maybe just because we haven't beaten them for so long,
I didn't like that before.
I agree with that because we normally beat Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea normally beat us regardless. Whatever they can only have 10 men on the day from the start, and they normally beat us. There's always a reason why they managed to turn us over, but this time they didn't, which shows more about them where they are than where we are, how good we are, to be honest. Because, but
we've kick-started their season, haven't we? They've beaten us, and then they've won.
We kicked them into probably cut us out of top 4.
But again, Sean, I'll say to your point that. Carrying on from what you've just said there, guys, we are gonna go for another 10 minutes and then stop, and then please all go over to Henry Wright TV. Please smash the like button, smash the subscribe. Everyone's been quite stingy with the likes and subscribes tonight. We've got 154 versus 400 people in here, and only 6 new subscribers. Let's smash that subscribe button, people, and subscribe to everyone in the chat as well. Alex THFC, subscribe to Ben's Coffee Company. Subscribe to THFC Talk Show for
all
Sean
one
as
word.
well.
Hashtag all one word. Forget that. Spurs Talk Show, all one word.
Spurs Talk Show. THFC talk show. Who's that?
Who's
Huh?
that?
Who's
Oh,
THFC
God, what?
talk show?
Do you know what? This is what happens when you go away for the weekend and you're flying everywhere. I'm just knackered. Apologies,
Yeah,
boys. Yeah,
that's
Spurs
all
talk
good.
show. Sorry,
Okay,
Sean.
okay.
Subscribe. You know who these people are. Subscribe to them. Just come back to your point that we were just saying there, Sean. In terms of output, you said outperforming expectation.
Yeah.
That's why I was so gutted about Milan, because you
Yeah.
had, for example, you had Borussia Dortmund, who are the most informed team in Germany, had won like 11 games on the spin.
Yeah.
You know, they go to Chelsea and Chelsea put in a proper performance.
They
Like
stepped
they
up.
all,
They grabbed it. Right? Yeah.
yeah. And then we play the next day, and you're thinking, right, that's what we want to see. And everyone, Rio Ferdinand, Owen Hargreaves, all the people doing the commentary for BT was saying Spurs have to do tonight what Chelsea did last night, and then we flopped. So,
Yeah.
what do you make of this? If we beat Everton, my point is this: we've beaten Forest, we've got Southampton and Everton. If we win those games,
Yeah.
we should potentially secure top four, right?
Yeah. 70 points, right?
Has it been a bad season? I've not once said it has, by the way. I don't think it's been a bad season. I
It's
just
been a
don't
stagnant-
see a plan.
If we finish top four and we get roughly, even if we get a couple points more than we got last season, generally speaking, I'd say it's been a plateau in terms of outcome, but a backward step in terms of performance. I think the team, I think generally speaking, you'd have to give it like as a season, like a 5.5 out of 10, because Conte showed something in the second half of last season that got everyone excited. We managed to get over the line. Yes, there was ups and downs like there always is with Tottenham, but we got it done. And then this season, we stuttered and stumbled our way through. Like to Pete's point earlier, the only reason we're fourth is because we're the best of the rest. But there's the other two teams that have been worse than us. We're nowhere near Arsenal or City, and so I think you have to reflect on the season and say, look, we managed to achieve something. We probably, if we do finish fourth, we're probably going to get enough money to be able to hopefully go again a little bit in the transfer window, which is going to be important if you do want to. Next season, clean slate. Whoever's going to be in charge, whether it's Conte or anybody else, you're going to need 150 million quid spent in the summer. That doesn't happen absent the Champions League revenue. So it will still be some sort of like mile metric. It's an important metric and milestone to achieve to get top four. But ultimately, I'll look back on the season and give it a giant big meh and say it's a 5 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10, because I had my expectations this year were much better, higher in terms of performance and outcome, and we didn't do it. And then when you look at the variance that happened with the cups, right? Who we got a dream Champions League draw, and we didn't put in a good performance really in any of the games.
No.
We had a dream FA Cup draw the whole way through. Didn't play a tough team and didn't really put in a great performance anywhere, and then got beaten by a Sheffield United B team. And in the Carabao Cup, we didn't turn up either, or Carabao Cup, we didn't turn up either. So, yeah, like you said earlier, Savva, right? The cup competitions have been, Conte's been terrible in them, like he always has been in years gone by. So 5 out of 10 this season.
So with that in mind, then I'll come to you, Ben and Pete. With that in mind, Conte's comments yesterday about how top four for us, for Spurs, is like winning a Premier League. Do those comments? Do those comments help? For me, guys, those comments for me are actually just saying, look how great I am. I've done a great job. Because for me, that would show that we've not done a single thing to move forward from last year. If we finish fourth, we've gone out earlier in the cups.
The problem is that is what the club want. They've posted a video. When was that silly video of top fours or everything? When was that posted? 15 years ago now? It is like winning the Premier League for Tottenham, because that is all they care about. It's all they care about. They've posted it on their own social media. Top four is our everything.
The way he's saying it is influencing all these fans now that are going to make out that it's much better than it is, because he keeps saying this. He said last year getting top four was a miracle. Was it? The league was the league was utter crap. What was a miracle about us getting top four last year? I don't understand it.
It was a miracle that Arsenal fell off so much, because they've shown this year they're not falling off. They're a quality outfit.
Agreed.
They're a quality outfit.
Agreed.
Top four is our everything. That is the club talking. It's not him talking. It's the club, because Antonio Conte wants to win, hence why he's not going to be here, because he wants to go into a club like Inter that's already got a nucleus of a team, and he buys a couple more players for his system, and he wins, and then he goes again. That's what he does. He's a win now manager. He's a win now manager, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean,
it doesn't affect the focus of the club. It's not what we want. It's not what the club wants.
I agree with Ben, because when you think about it, a manager can get knocked out of all 3 cups and still keep his job. The minute we can't get in the top 4, he'll get sacked.
Yeah,
that's the problem at this
Bingo.
club. But I think I saw a stat earlier. I don't know how accurate it is, but I think it is that our average position from the 2009 to 10 season to now has been 4th. So the fact that he's going on like we've never done it before since he turned up is bollocks. Yeah. At the end of the day, last year we should have rode 4th really, because we were free and clear. Arsenal had fell apart, and then we managed to fuck it up, and then Arsenal managed to fuck it up again. Bear in mind they had all season with no striker, and we just picked them at the end, and that was a big overreaction to that, in my opinion. Because for me, as I said at the time, that's a warning shot across the bows for us that we're getting far too complacent. And then this year, let's be honest, no one predicted Liverpool would fall off a cliff the way they have. No one predicted what would happen at Chelsea after the money they spent. So I think it's just and let's be honest, we could still finish outside the top 4 if Brighton win all their games in hand. With Brighton win all their games in hand, and match our results, we'll finish up.
Oh, but if they do finish 4th, what an absolute achievement, and well deserved, because they've been playing brilliant ball the whole season.
If they finish in the top 4,
that is a miracle. Brighton doing it is a miracle.
I respect Tony Bloom because he does loads of events.
Yeah, but Brighton doing it.
I respect him. So if he gets top 4, the next Jewish care do, he's the person that's running it. I'm going and I'm buying him a fucking present because the man fucking deserves it. He runs a football club properly. He's got a proper ethos. He knows what he's doing. He gets managers he knows are going to do the job properly. That is how a fucking club runs. I'm going to buy him a present.
If they get it, that's a miracle, because that's completely out of nowhere for Brighton to do it. Tottenham have done it last year, and have done it regularly over the past 10 years. So don't make out like this is a new phenomenon of us getting in the top 4. Yeah, it's a load of bollocks. It's just him trying to, for me, cover his arse a bit, because let's be honest, we've not kicked on this year. We've regressed. We've just been lucky that other teams have gone off a cliff, and that sort of regression has not been so damaging in terms of our league position. Because on a normal season, Chelsea are up there, Liverpool are up there. Do you know what I mean? We're probably 5th or 6th.
Well, Brighton's next 5 games, guys. Brighton's next 5 games. They've got Palace at home. They've got Brentford at home, Bournemouth away, Spurs away, Chelsea away. Can we see them winning their next 3? Palace, Bournemouth.
I think they could get 9 points out of that 5. Maybe 8, maybe 7 points out of that.
Listen, they're so unpredictable, that team. It's possible they could win all of them, and it's possible they could lose most of them. They're just
even when they lost to Fulham a couple of weeks ago, they absolutely battered Fulham on the day, and Fulham took a pot shot and got the goal, stole the points.
Listen, I don't fancy playing them at the moment. I don't fancy playing them, especially at home, because we're wank at home. I know we're forward, but they'll be all over that.
Can we see anyone realistically other than Brighton taking 4th from us? I think we'll get it. I've said it all season.
Liverpool can take it.
Liverpool. Like I knew Liverpool were going to lose. I'm not sure if I put it in your chat, Savva, or someone else's, but after they beat Man United 7-0, you knew they were going to drop points against Bournemouth.
Have you seen the next 3, Sean?
Go on.
Liverpool's next 3 league games. Take Real Madrid out. Liverpool's next 3 league games. They're away at Man City next weekend. No, that's a lie. Sorry, they're away at Man City the first game back after the international break.
Yeah.
Then they're away at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And then they're home to Arsenal. That's 3 massive games.
Okay.
But they've proven they've done it. They beat Man United 7-0 and then lose to fucking Bournemouth. They did a Tottenham.
They do a top. But they always raise themselves from Manchester United. They always do, especially at Anfield.
They also do it for Manchester City as well. They always do it for Manchester City.
But I think Liverpool will have a massive. Like those 3 games will shake up the title race quite dramatically as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But do I think that they've got? Do I think they can take top 4? I don't think so. I think they might finish. I think it's going to be an interesting top 4 race. Newcastle did well today. Tottenham obviously still in
Newcastle
it.
4 points behind. 4 points behind Sean with 2 games in hand,
Yeah,
and their games coming up are Nottingham Forest away,
yeah.
Man United at Newcastle, West Ham away, Brentford away, Villa away, Spurs at home.
The
So
problem is
that's an easy
they've got
running, but
more
Nottingham
draws than
Forest.
IKEA, though. They've got more draws than IKEA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but Forest at Forest is a different team to Forest. But Forest play away, you know.
Yeah. Other than
They
that,
got
I mean,
better goal difference than us as well.
Yeah,
They got
it's going to be
they got
it's going to be a fascinating top 4. Like there's definitely 4 teams in it. Technically, there's 4 teams in it. Brighton, Liverpool, Newcastle, and Spurs. I think are still are banging it. But for me personally, I don't think Liverpool will get there. I think it's between Tottenham and Newcastle.
yeah.
No, I think Liverpool get there. I think they will. I think once Madrid's out of the way, they'll go all guns blazing.
Listen, I'm sorry, I can't. Even if Liverpool don't make it, right, and we make it, they'll still do better than us next season because they've got expectation. They've got a plan. You've got Klopp. There's a winner. You know what I mean? So like, I don't make fun
So
of
many
us.
Liverpool fans are Klopp out though right now. Mate.
Well, they're
They're wrong,
deluded.
mate.
They're
They're
deluded
wrong,
because
mate.
and they should appreciate it because the fact is they
I
need to
hope
look at
they're
Tottenham.
Klopp out.
They need to look at top. They need to look at Tottenham. You know what I mean? They've won all the cups that need to be won already with this guy. Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
moaning. They're moaning.
I'll say
Yeah.
this: if Liverpool get rid of if Liverpool get rid of Jurgen Klopp, I'm telling Antonio Conte, who I deeply respect, goodbye, and I'm getting Jurgen Klopp in. I'm giving him.
Yeah, I'd love Jurgen Klopp at Tottenham. I'd love Jurgen Klopp.
I'm
That'd be
giving him
amazing.
£25 million a year, and I'm giving him a 10-year contract, and I'm putting a heaven on earth. He's that good of a footballer.
I'd love Klopp at Tottenham, but
That is a great manager.
I mean, are we we're discounting, right? I mean, Fulham, Brentford, and Chelsea. I just don't think there's enough
think
there
too far
to.
away.
Chelsea are out of it. I think Fulham are just. I mean, I think they're up and down. And then you got Brentford. I just don't think they've got the team to do it at the moment. I think Newcastle, you can't discount them, definitely not. And you know, I think that's it really for me. Liverpool.
Any chance you can see Man United getting sucked out of it?
No, because again, I think we're just going over the top again about them at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, they're doing really well at the moment. I think they'll pick up still.
But they are
Because
distracted, right? They're still in 2 different competitions. They're still in the FA Cup and in the and in the Europa League.
Well, they'll cope with it. The only problem they've got is Casemiro is going to be suspended for 4 games, maybe
100%.
now.
Yeah.
So
And
that
he's out
will
for
be a
4
problem.
games, right? So
that will be a problem, though. But at the end of the day, I'm not really.
I'd love that.
I mean,
I would love
I'm
that
only
so much.
answering the question because Savva's asked us a question. But for me, I'm now looking at more at Tottenham anymore because I'm done. I'm done looking at other clubs now. I'm done. My point is because like we all I was worried. All I was seeing from Tottenham fans last year was about we're above Arsenal. We're above Arsenal. Well, Arsenal are going above us now and win the championship. So that's the reason why we've been in the mud for so long because we can concentrate on Arsenal, not concentrate on ourselves. Maybe we should learn a lesson there. Again, Mr. Box Office talking truth again. Back to you, Savva. Again, if you don't know, get to know.
This narrative all the time that it took Klopp 3 years to get Liverpool going. Didn't Jurgen Klopp get them into 2 finals in his first season?
He did.
Am I making that up?
No,
you're not making it up.
I think something like that. I remember the Europa League Cup run they went on.
Yeah, I seem to remember them getting to a number of finals in his first couple of years. So it might have taken him 3 years to win something, but they were there or thereabouts. Look, guys, I do want to end it there. I do have an agreement in place with Henry, so I do want to end it there. Just before I do, I just want to say thank you very much to Shafay Sajjad, who said, I'm an hour behind on the stream, but just would like to say I want to start being excited for games and not worry about which version of Spurs I'll get, driven or can't be bothered. Shafay, that's exactly how I feel about Tottenham. Listen, I acknowledge that if Conte was brought in to get top 4, he did his job last year perfectly. If that's his remit this year, he's done it perfectly. I've never questioned the league position. For me, it's just what my eyes see.
Yeah,
I don't enjoy watching Tottenham play. That's all it is. If he signs a new contract, I will get over it. I'm an adult. I will deal with it. But listen, Sean, thanks for coming on, buddy. Really, really appreciate it. Alex, Mr. Box Office, thank you as always. Ben, much love. Really appreciate it. Pete, as always, I've really enjoyed it. Everybody in the chat, please subscribe to everyone who's on the show. Please help me get to the 4,000 mark. Please like the show, and can you please all go over to the Spurs Corner for Henry Wright?
I'll put the link in the chat for everyone.
Who you have?
Yeah, put the link in the chat. So you've got
perfect. So there you go. There's the link in the chat to go over and watch Henry. When you go over there, just type Savva Raid. He'll know that you've been sent from me. Much love, everyone. Catch you soon. And
as always, Levy.
Bye bye.